welcome to the show. Fire will burn you. It's a nighttime politics, evening of politics, with me, Mansa Musa, as your host. Tonight is a Wednesday, so I hope you've listened to beautiful, beautiful reggae vibes coming from the portals of this NFM Radio. Right, so tonight being a midweek, yes, I want to say midweek. Everything goes really, and what we start with is it's about the wonky, or is it the mentimi or the infighting within the MPP itself. As the guys would say, Sayo onupa beshialo, Sayo onupa beshialo. You see, we say some people say the people they fight them, me I'm happy. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it is true that there is a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of confusion, a lot of bad blood in the NPP, and it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing at all, not for the party and not for Ghanaians. Because as it is, there is no focus, there is no concentration at all from members of that party. The focus or the concentration that is needed, to run the affairs of the country, to make sure that Ghana PLC runs smoothly, that is completely missing, because now it's like each one for himself, God for us all in the MPP. It's like, the stronger, what do we call, how do we say it? The fittest of the survival of the fittest, I want to say. You see, that's what is happening in the MPP. Kufuor has actually dismantled the soul of that party. Kufuor has dismantled he has destroyed the party with so much greed in the system, in everybody's mind, so it has become a problem. It has become an issue of take, make, I take. The stronger will take more, the weaker will take little. And for the take, make, I take, I don't think it's even a problem. It's all about pride in that MPP fraternity. You see? The point is, now, they've been let loose and they've been left naked. The whole world, everybody knows that, when we talk about men with dignity, men with the capacity and capabilities to run a country, the MPP lacks, those qualities. It's a fact. Because all those going around, wanting, crying, doing everything to become leader of the party, you see, just for them to maybe escape some sort of scrutiny in future. Ghanaians have come to realize that, hey, as they say, you sell your color TV and you go buy some package and you see that the one you bought, it's not even black and white. It's just that you bought a box that doesn't work at all. I remember very, very, very early in the 80s, we had this guy, a gentleman who lived in the USA. He brought loads of this, is it Apple or those days? I've forgotten the names, not Apple. I've forgotten the first good, makers of these computer boxes. He brought them the screens. And the market didn't go well, because at that time, the only people who could afford to buy computers were the, the government institutions. And the government institutions, even when you reduce the price, it wasn't good enough for the government to spend such money. So this gentleman brought these computers, and what happened was that he incurred so much losses. Then a friend of his who was in Ghana came out with a dubious idea. He told his friend that, look, You have come from USA with all these computers and these computer screens. Now you have lost so much money. If you don't take time, you cannot even get your ticket to go back. So why don't you let me help you to sell it? He said, how? He said, you leave it with me. But the price you are asking for, I will take it for half the price. So this man collected about, I don't know, maybe about 50 or 100 of these computer screens, and started going to the villages, not exactly village, like the towns, big towns, even in the cities, big towns with electricity, and some part of the the hidden or the parts of cities like Accra, the areas that people who are not very clever where they lived, and he went to sell those computer screens as televisions. And obviously he was selling these televisions in the afternoon, in the morning, in the afternoon. And you know very well those days televisions starts operating, I think, if it's football, maybe it's about 3 p.m. But if it's the normal news item and the rest, television starts around 6 o'clock in the evening or something. So this man will come to your house around 10 a.m. to sell these computer screens. And when we switch it on, you see that the light will come all right, but the GBC television has not started. So you say, well, you pay me in the night when you see the GBC comes on, GBC 1 or GBC 2, you are going to receive the television feed and you are going to watch your tele. This guy sold almost about 50 to 100 of these computer screens. Now, word got around in town that someone is, going around selling damaged or, let's say, obsolete, what do we call TV screens. Some people even got some radio and TV repairers or engineers to have a look, and they came to find out that it wasn't actually TV screens, but were computer screens. So by the time everyone was realized the American guy has got his money, he has left for US. Later, as history will have it, the soldiers got hold of him, and the rest, the story say, is history. You see what I mean? So, what I'm trying to say is that Ghanaians have come to realize that the NPP group lack, the group really lack the quality, either men or women. And for the women, if I mention, then I really don't know what to say. Because if you check about and watch, what is going on with people like Hawa Kumsin, with people like Ajwa Safu, people like Cecil Dapa. As for the women, oh Jesus Christ. Look at the Ashanti region or the National Women Organizer of the NPP. She herself, she had her excavators destroyed because she was doing illegal mining. Still, she is still the party chairman. I mean, in any progressive, any what do we call it? What is the word for it? Any enlightened society, that woman would have been in jail. But in Ghana, she is still the women's organizer for the NPP. As PLO, PLO Lumumba said not quite long ago, and it is very true. He said, you see, in Japan, if someone, a government official or state official is found to be corrupt, I think he kills himself. In China, if you are found to be corrupt, they kill you. But in Africa, if an official is found to be corrupt, that official presents himself for elections. He presents himself to be elected in Africa just for being corrupt. So that is our woes, that is our lot, that is our calamity, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to Mansa Musa, and the show is Fire Will Burn You. As usual, It is metaphorical. It is not in literal meaning. So don't think when you get here, fire is actually going to burn your drawers or your trousers. Going for a short music. I'll be back tonight. If everything goes well and lights are good, I will get Mr. Bernard Mona of the PNC to come and discuss the demo. I'm still looking for the crew, the rest of the crew from the NDC side or for the public side to also come and have a word about that demo. Let's go for a short musical interlude.
Sydney Discotheque, verano del 79, con la mejor música del mundo, del mundo, del
Okay,
mundo,
one.
del mundo, del mundo, del mundo.
Ojaye! Ojaye! NFM Radio.
Cecilia Abunadapa, well done. Well done. I thought you were a woman and a mother who had compassion. They said, give a position to a woman and she'll do far better than a man. But these days, what do we see? It's sad. It's disheartening. Year in, year out, flood affects people in Accra. The Odo River gets flooded. Lives are destroyed. Properties are destroyed. You said you used $43 million to clean the Odo River. Have you seen what $43 million could do in Dubai, or in Europe, or in America? Shame unto you. It's so sad. It's so disheartening. We live in this country, people cannot even afford 1 meal a day. And some people out there who have very little are trying everything possible to reach out to those who don't have any. But you, the politicians, all you think about is grabbing. You have only one child, I was told. You have only one child, and you are grabbing all those properties for only one child. How about those kids in our front plains, those kids at the north, those kids in the Volta region somewhere, those kids in remote villages in Ashanti region, in Central region, in every part of Ghana? Look, there was a kid I met in Sogakope. They are so poor that there are 3 siblings. Every morning, their meal is yesterday banku with raw pepper, no tomatoes, just pepper and salt, with no fish. The day I asked my mother to give them soup, it was like, you are bringing kids from the war zone who haven't eaten for a year. When they saw soup in a plate that day, oh, politicians are wicked in this country. You people cannot even afford to go to hospitals. I have a little charity. My colleagues from work and my friends, they help me with their little income, and we reach out to people in the remote parts of the water region. They have nothing, absolutely nothing to eat. You guys are just there amassing Ghana's wealth, misusing donors' funds. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? And today's Sunday, July 23rd, 2023, I believe most of you are in your churches praising God, thanking God for bringing Ghana down. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? It's so disheartening what you people are doing to Ghana. It's so sickening what you people are doing to Ghana. I go to the villages and I see kids who do not have anything to do, who do not have anything to eat. There are people who are sick. They can't go to hospitals. Even they go to the hospitals, they give them paracetamol. this national health insurance. You buy a loaf of bread in Kuala, you pay national health insurance. Yet, donors are putting money into this national health insurance. But you guys are just looting the money. People go to hospitals, you give them paracetamol. Why are you doing this to Ghana? Why? Why are you doing this to Ghana? Oh, don't you have heart? Don't you have compassion? Don't you have sympathy? Don't you have feelings for people? It is sad. And you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
I've said it and I'll repeat it again. Those who are coming to this administration thinking that it's an avenue for making a lot of money are going to be disappointed. They better go to the private sector. That is where people make money, not in government. I've said it and I'll repeat it again. Those who are coming to this administration thinking that it's an avenue for making a lot of money are going to be disappointed. They better go to the private sector. That is where people make money, not in government.
The Bank of Ghana committing to that project?
I don't have the figure offhand, sir.
The figure for your headquarters?
I don't have a figure off my head, sir. That's what I'm saying.
$250 million. Are you committing $250 million to that project?
I don't have the full complement of the figures at this moment.
Mr. Randolph, you are the Director of Finance of the Bank of Ghana. This is a major project that will shake the balance book of every organization. You should have that figure of head. How much are you committing to your head office building? We know it is $250 million. Can you confirm that? The Bank of Ghana committing to that project?
I don't have the figure offhand, sir.
The figure for your headquarters?
I don't have a figure off my head, sir. That's what I'm saying.
$250 million. Are you committing $250 million to that project?
I don't have the full complement of the figures at this moment.
Mr. Randolph, you are the Director of Finance of the Bank of Ghana. This is a major project that will shake the balance book of every organization. You should have that figure of head. How much are you committing to your head office building? We know it is $250 million. Can you confirm that?
Name manage 2 years. Say see the Fiora Bia 2 years. I want them. What's your mother? What's name 2 years? Who ya or 2 years? I can't. Say see no. Sir, dan someone has said per se. Open single room. Say see no put 600. Who put 500. Who put 700, 800. Who not dying. Says agent for agent 100 CDs for viewing fee, and I say 80 Ghana for viewing fee. Just show you the room. Says if you're for beer, the Omodayam agent for Uchia 9,600. Also Uchia agent 900, 600, 900 and almost 1,000 cities. Why? Cecilia, you to the day. Why? Like why? What? Like why? Hey, like it's serious. Say, Matsna demo 2 years. I'm paying 8,000. Now I'm supposed to pay 9,600. And you are taking the 2 years. You will take 1 year and put. Because you see me engine 6 months in 1 year. To see how the we Juma may fear. Uba boa no busumi pay the amount. Say 600 or say 700. You have to eat only small one a pay because a whole month no pay. And see back on one by day. Ume should be you. Ume should be you or my one penny for monka once a machine na youth for the year brenna ye kun anyhow. A direct in tea ye begging pointino. Uba come ye kun. Boba come ye kun to you to ye brenna a dance some air queen a day. How Ghana ye black papa a day. And then fear walking in Kajagoza, me patrol me padama, but because of agents, very fees or do cut set them, or bet you 80 cities and now say 100 cities. And then dance so man dying, who could have 600? Oh, nothing room in or do 2 years, 600 cities, 2 years. Because of that, need to be able to move that down, or no person or two. Now, or do a roof of a shower on 1,600, 1,500. Let the wood turn into a person.
So, some of the messages that goes around and comes around, and it's all about the hardship, the misgovernance of the Kufuor regime. But tonight, hey, wow, you know something? This guy, what's his name? One to me has spoken, and to me, Kennedy Japan is making one to me look like a statesman. One to me rather sounds like, how do I say, like a sensible guy. Can you believe it? That I would say so. Let's go and see if we can listen to what the message one to me has got for Kennedy Japan. Okay, the audio is, as they say, the audio isn't working. So I'll try other means. Let's see if we can hear one to me address Kennedy Japan.
Because why is I'm sure and money are this well as a one, only we are CBU. And to the Amesra, you say, free no quay. I man, and yes, sir. And as I would say, over to my BBS Swa. I had no press at 2020, so Santinania, dear, Central Region, so side in the city. Central Region, so not my own to be a home. Never knew home. And to the Amesra on the side, Kennedy, can you open to me? Not can you open to me? Now, so what's me a friend and not Diano, I on the 4th. It's exactly 1 month. Now, you're quite what But the master move baby we Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 22. I say, so the boy need best suffering upon Boneso. Now I found Yankupa Quine Ubenyankwa. It's a 1 month, and yes, Obeluso and a mepe. Then Musa walk any idea who did the party for them, police station for 1 to Mamia, went Jimmy, and the Sunny Mano. So overpower macho. Now I shall walk crying over to me a paswa. I idea party for no Ubenya Yakupo anyone Munyam, and then independent anyone Munyam. Joy, so will be a Roma shuffle. Na and now say, I don't cry in Yakupo fear no. So Ocase were free Roma Solumu, no Wakatina Soria, Palace Crona or Wono, on because won't free on Yankupon. At Dinoa, I sorry for the man, on because won't free now on Fanco. Cat kiss to cry up and free them. It is some original chairman. Now, Abra, Yura, Alan Cassa, Uncle Bio, no man, you see in the statement. Man Cassa entity will be a ye. Then, Abra, Alan Cassa. One desire now only MPP will be only dear. I was said for a biaso, some year jar. I was some in party for a casa. Into a Osumu, a Yosun, Osumu, and a mammy letter. And then my party for say, satisfied no one can be old dear. Say I've been Tantabia man, or Monte, the posters be free party offices. Mancasentia. It's way near Samoa, Maker. It's Mamma say, may back no baby do attempt. Attempt the dear. What the judges for attempt, what they will be attempt, and him for attempt any day, it will be an impure to me. Sisan, I was Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 22. Onyankopon, Oshramu. Oh, wow, Cassa, Woka, be a Jimmy. Manumi who sent me one MPP. Manumi who sent me one MPP. Boya Kwasia for Quaya or Faswa with the Cassa, Bachelor, and you show down, and near dinner, and the Manintra. So, yes, sir, now threatening me, be a memiacho. I have football and I'm a day mount. Because why, sir, I'm at Sure, and money at this well as a 1 no, only we are CBU. And to the Amesra, you say, free no quay. I man, and yes, sir. And as I would say, over to my Bibiazo Swa. I had the press 2020, and so, Santananya, dear, Central Region, so, send in the city. Central Region, so I not my own to me or home. Never knew home. And to the Amesra, when I say, Kennedy, can you open to me yet? Not can you open to me yet? Now, so what me a free net and that they are no, I on the 4th, and exactly 1 month. Now, you're quite what. But the master move baby, I was Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 22. I say, so the boy need best suffering upon Boneso. Now, what for when you go park crying, Ubenyankwa? It's a 1 month. And yes, Obeluso and a mepe. Then Musa walk any idea who did the party for them, police station for 1 to Mamia, where Jimmy and the Sunny Mano. So overpower macho. Now I shall walk crying, over to me a faswa. I idea party for no Ubenya Yakupo anyone Munyam, and then independent anyone Munyam. Joy, so will be a Roma shuffle. Now and now I say. I don't cry in a coupon fear no. So, Ocase were free Roma Solumu, no Wakatina Soria, Palace Crona or Wono, on because won't free on Yankupon, at Dinoa, I sorry for the man, on because won't free now on Fanco. Cat kiss to cry up and free them. It is some original chairman. Now, Abra, Yura, Alan Cassa, Uncle Bio, no man, you see in the statement. Man Cassa entity will be a ye. Then, Abra, Alan Cassa. One desire now only MPP will be only dear. I was said for a biaso, some year jar. I was some in party for a casa. Into a Osumu, a Yosun, Osumu and a mamma de letter. And the ma party for say, satisfied no on can you be dear. Say I've been Tantabia man. Or won't sit the posters be free party offices. Nankasentia. It's way near Samoa maker. It's the Mamma say, may back number baby do at them. At them, dear. What the judges for at them, what they will be at them, and him for at them, any other, it will be an improvement to me. Sisan, I will Isaiah chapter 18, verse 22. Onyakopon, Oshramu.
In their endeavor to reach a wider sea.
Right, so that was Chairman Woon to me. I never thought to say, remember Chairman Woon to me, but to me to Canada Japan for Emma me Mansa Musa, Makasa, Wakasao. But Obika was it time changes indeed. Mr. Kwesiakwa has called here, so let me connect the microphone and see if we can have a one-on-one with him for a while, whilst we are waiting for the crew from Accra to join us on the demo. Kwesi, good evening.
Good evening, Mansa. Michelle, with you for me, Ashofina.
No pedi me ja imbre me baby me mind me business ana. Want to me all my Canada Japan advice. Na we are see who want to me has spoken much and me Mansa Musa feel that want to me or akanya se semo I do crazy anyway. Akwa babio but today is Wednesday, Thursday, tomorrow Friday, then Saturday. So far no more election it's all confirmed, right?
Yes, Musa, yan election is confirmed for Saturday, Mansa Musa. Ballot in a bibia, we are picking position, we are in bit more than into Sisia and Mansa Musa. Accra says Sisia and are going the best schedule Saturday. Into me could see Muba Humpa and Amuka Pikino, Mansa Musa. Yankupom chairman number 1. Into could see me the number 1. Into the several persons walk out one number 1. I want to consider Mansa Musa. Sisia, a mini name your chairman 1. No, the other from Sisia.
I see. Chairman 1. But if you be the chairman 1, then the original chairman 1, where is they?
They were outgoing.
I'm open politics. I see. So, what does the Mawano in all good, serious terms, what does it mean?
Musa, in all situation, 1 means unity. Musa, even in numbering, you go to 1 before you go to the other numbers. When God created the word, it started from Sunday. God, knows the best. So 1 is something that brings everybody together. Man says, Musa, if you look the number 1 itself, it is unique. It is the only number that is just 1, very powerful. So number 1, Mansa Musa, no Bibekasa or so. Well, this way the election if you are blessed, you are blessed. And yet, now you said the Bible compile boom. When you give everything to the Lord, Mansa Musa, He Himself will fight for you. So, Mansa Musa, we see from day 1, I'm the only chairman who have done my own campaign from day 1 up to date, Mansa Musa. And always, I don't
understand. If you say you are the only, I don't understand what you have just said there. You are the only one who have done your campaign.
Yeah, one man tells you me a serious campaign.
I see. Okay, now I get it. And but if you are doing everything by your own, what does that say? Is it an advantage or what?
No, I have a team. I have a planning and committee and all that. But I told them I want to get involved in issue of going direct to the voters. sending the message direct on the platform for them to know that, oh, it is Chairman Kwisakwa himself who is coming to us. Inti Musa. Now, I would like to thank all the branches who have given their platform to us to campaign. Some of the branches have done a very good job. I would like to thank them so much for the job they've done for the party. A branch like North London, a branch like Birmingham, a branch like Hall and others. Currently, Milton Keynes just opened their doors for us to also campaign. Thank you. And those who are yet to open their platform, South London has also opened their platform. We want to thank them. Yesterday we were at South London. They give us a platform for beautiful debate. Musa, we would like to thank the organizers and the chairman for organizing a debate for us. This is what the party is looking for, Mansa Musa. So we like to thank all the comrades, the branches who have held on till date, irrespective of even our difficult situation. Musa, this is a election and leadership so that we can start the 2024 processes of going to Ghana to fight NPP for power. So Musa, Saturday the election is coming on.
So, realistically, you looking through your prayers and through across the crystal balls and everything. Realistically, where do you think we are going to be from 1 to 4 on Saturday?
From 1 to 4, with the 1, so I'll be on 1, Musa. Musa, let me tell you something. You see, there are others who are, yes, say, oh, we have the people, we have the numbers, but they are the core majority of the people. They are the silent majority for now. What's there, Mansa Musa Sisiano? This party now, when you have reformed. Musa, you see, the individuals who want an experienced leader to lead. The Musa, among the chairmanship position, if not anything, I'm the experienced leading the race. So I want to urge all the voters that, look, where we are now, we need an experienced politician to lead us. Musa, my NDC politics didn't start from UK and Ireland. My politics started all the way from Ghana. I've been a CDR man, I've been a WDC person, I've served, I've formed various branches across the UK and even outside UK. If you talk of Scotland, you talk of Sheffield, you talk of France. And now as I speak, I'm in the process of getting other groups come on board. So it is time that we reform this chapter, Mansa Musa. Now, you're ready for new patriotic. New patriotic party, the party is in disarray. Inti God of say wasensa Tamas NPP as a political group, the colossal amount of failure now of the nation, it is enough. The now Kufa do need by millions of one. We have to see them off, Mansa Musa. We need change in power, like we need change in this chapter as well. So Musa, that is the situation. So Saturday, everything has gone through. We have gone through a lot, Mansa Musa. Individuals are stressed out. Our money, our time, and everything. So we'd like to thank Accra for finally giving us the date for us to go for the election, Mansa Musa. I hope you are coming to witness the program on Saturday yourself.
I want to come. I have got three votes. So I will come and share my 3 votes. If it's okay.
No, it's not okay. There will be security to take care of you if you have 3 votes. We ask you where you got the 3 votes from, Mansa Musa, and from which branch. And the branch chairman will give you 3 votes. We will look for him and ask him questions, Mansa. What happened in 2018 is not going to happen this time around, Mansa Musa.
My branch is the NFM branch.
Emudaho,
you see what I mean? You see, now you are talking.
Emudaho. Mansa Musa, you are invited to come and witness our election, and after the election, that is where Mansa Musa will come to you and sit down with you and say a big thank you for all the support, even during our dire situation. We want to thank you so much for all the support you've given the party here. So we'd like to say a big thank you to you, Mansa Musa.
Will there be food and drinks?
Oh, yes. There'll be refreshment. So don't worry about that.
Okay. I see. Okay.
And there'll be music. Mama's music will be flowing left, right, center. So you come and see. After all the tension, come and see the unity in the party. Come there and you will love it, Mansa Musa.
I see.
So we are inviting you to come to the program.
Among your Ghanaian top gurus, is any? I mean, this is no secret. Is any of them here to supervise?
Yes, some of them are coming, but at least not officially for security reasons. We don't know. I know we know a couple of our international relations director will come and supervise the election, and technically he'll be coming with his deputies, some of his deputies, and some of the national guys. But for now, for security reasons, we don't have the list now, so we know some of them will come and supervise the election for us, Mansa Musa.
Okay.
Yeah, because technically now they are the ones supervising the election, not this chapter. This chapter executives they failed in supervising the election. So Accra has taken over now. So that is what it is, Mansa Musa.
Well, I asked my pollsters to do me a poll. And I have the figures in my bosom. I have the outcome in my bosom. See what I mean? So I will keep it in my bosom. Because when I ask any of you realistically to tell me where you are going to be, every one of you is saying, I am going to be number one, you see. But the voters have decided to be their own choices anyway. So, but see, on the other hand, seriously speaking, if Saturday you vote and you you finish everything, are you very sure that you guys can come back strongly, amicably, quickly is the word? Or you think there will be just, if you share him, that sort of pretending to be nice to each other, pretending to be civil? What do you think?
No, Mansa Musa, whatever we are doing in this chapter, we are doing it for NDC. Whoever wins the election, if you even issue a statement, the statement that you be issued, it should be a statement of unity. And I was at the debate, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? And I said, if Chairman Kusakwa is given the nod to lead this chapter, my first statement that I'll be asked to make a statement, I'll make sure the other colleagues come and stand around me to make that statement. Because this party, it belongs to all of us. After election, we have NDC business to do, Mansa Musa. Unity is what we need, because politics, no one man can do politics. You do politics with people. Politics should be done in unity. Everybody has to play a role to make sure we achieve our target. So I've said that after the election, whatever went wrong, whatever we are going to put all behind us and make sure that, Mansa Musa, the unity that we want, we bring together. I have recommended, it's going to be part of my administration, if I'm giving the note, that the issue of Council of Elders will play a key role in my administration if I'm elected, Mansa Musa. Apart from the welfare that I have a program with my team, which I'm working on, I spoke to some few legal guys last week concerning welfare matters and other things. Musa, we need to make sure that we work for the members and the party. It is not about I. Musa, I give you a proverb. Let me repeat this thing and you understand where Kusiako I'm coming from. Just a short one. Musa, like I said, if you have a garden and you have a gardener, you don't manage the gardener. It is the garden that you tell the gardener to manage for you. Because the gardener is a professional. It knows what he does. It's a professional guy. Okay? We joined National Democratic Congress. NDC didn't join us. So we are the skill set professionals. We have come into the party to help the party. So whatever skill set we have, we need to bring it together and work for the party. It's not a 1 or 2 or 3. It's about the party, Mansa Musa. So we need the unity in this party. Individuals who sometimes they think they have a sense of entitlement, please, we beg you. It is the people who elect executives. You don't elect yourself. Musa, this party since 1993, all the chairmen who have served this party before served one term and they moved on. This served one term. If you talk of Toto, if you talk of a gentle late Toto, may he so rest in peace. A comment. He served one term, he moved on. And the secretary also served. He moved on. When he finished, Sanka came, he moved on. Then we have even Mba. Mba, he was then an acting capacity. That gentleman, that doctor now, we should have given him the opportunity. But however, when he went to election, Kofi Kwachi won the day. So Kofi Kwachi also served one term. He moved on. So current outgoing chairman, it's not a different case. It's the same. The party have a tradition. So people should understand that, look, in NDC, you come in, you serve, when your time it comes and the people say we want a new leader, that's it. There's nothing you can do. You move on. You go back to your branch.
But hang on. If you see, now you are qualified, if the people say they want a new leader, but for now, the people have not said anything of that sort, have they?
No, you are asking me a question. Me as a candidate, I'm saying that we want a change.
Okay.
So I am preaching for a change and a unity.
All right.
So then I've given you a bit of background information, statistics about the chapter and where we came from and where we are now. So technically, we want a new leader to come and reform this chapter for us, bring guests together and say, look, whatever has gone wrong, let's move on. This chairman has served his part. It's time for another new team to come and take over and continue. Wherever he's living off, this party is bigger than all of us. Wherever he's stopping, whoever takes over will continue from there, Mansa Musa.
I see. Those of you listening, Mansa Musa is talking to Mr. Kwesi Akwa. He is now telling us he is the one and the only chairman. One, because on the ballot sheets he is number one. So Kwesi, if he will allow me, he wants all the participants. I mean, those who are eligible to vote. And me, Mansa Musa, I don't have just one vote. I have 3 votes. I'll stamp here, stamp there, and stamp here. You see what I mean? I'm falingo. Anyway, so Kwesi want everyone to vote for number 1. You see, that is his. Okay, thank you. Well, that is his message. Now, Kwesi, let me play some devil's advocate here and ask the question that if Mbamba should, at least come out or admit that his fault, his mistakes, I don't know which are they, but the mistakes that he might have committed, if he can get over them, hasn't he got any positives at all?
Musa, nobody said no one has not got positive. All the chairmen who served and they were replaced, they had positives and they had negatives. Nobody is saying Mbaba hasn't got good positives or negatives. What we are saying is that, Musa, all those who have served in the chairmanship position before in the chapter, people played a key role. But it is time that this time around, because of the challenges we've gone through as a party, it is time for us to change, Mansa. Musa, change is good for an organization. When you change, then you can move on from wherever you got to and you move to the next level. So what we are demanding now is that, we need a change so that we can get a bit of fresh team on board to say, look, we now have a fresh team. Let everybody come on board and we see what we can do in terms of moving the party to the next level. As we speak, other diaspora NDCs are waiting for UK and Ireland because we're supposed to be the hub within the Europe here. So, Musa, what we are saying is that as for positives and negatives, look, I have my positives and negatives. All the other candidates have their positives and negatives. But change is very good for system. So we are calling for change so that the system we have in this chapter, we can reform it, rearrange it nicely, Then we see where we go from there, Mansa Musa.
Tonight, tomorrow, and Friday, anyone who comes across more or comes in my domain, I have to ask them to answer in all sincerity. And that is, you've mentioned your positives and your negatives. So to start with, what are your negatives?
My negatives, my colleagues will tell me that, Kosi, you have a negatives. Why? Because you are coming from Shuffle. Hey! So is that my negative, Musa? I was...
No, because you yourself said that you have your negative.
No, let me say, yeah, I'm defending it.
Your people are, your detractors are not here. So you yourself said you have your negative. So I'm asking you not what some people feel or say.
Yeah, okay, let me tell you some of my negative. My negative is that I'm coming from outside London. So it's not a negative at all, Mansa Musa. Already, like I spoke to you, I've gotten to advanced stage that somebody is saying that, look, I'm going to get you a bed sitter. No, London is expensive. What the figures he gave me. So I'm, evaluating the figures concerning the renting aspect. But however, Musa, let me give you some information here. Musa, 2018, I was a member of the Chapter Electoral Committee that received this current chairman's application to become a chairman. Akwesi and the team, we received this current chairman's application to contest for the chairman position. Ask him. I interviewed him with the team. I was crossing the motorway now and then to come and do party job constantly, Mansa Musa. It was a huge task for me. And on one occasion, I had to launch in my car for 2 hours before I could drive again. It's all sacrifice for the party. Okay? Those are the things that become some of the negatives. Sometimes, you see, we in the outside, we are not like you guys in the London. The numbers sometimes is not on our side. But we have the quality skill set people who are serving the branch. If I tell you the amount of skill set, qualified skill set I have in my group, Master, you open your mouth. We have the qualified people in the branch who have taken positions. Huge qualified individuals. So, Musa, NDC as a political group, we mean business 2024. So, irrespective of my negative of that, it's not a big deal at all. It's not a big deal.
And what are your positives? I'm going to ask.
Oh, my positives are, it's enormous, Mansa Musa. Look, Musa, I used to come to meeting in Tottenham. When we used to meet at Tottenham High Street, Tottenham area there. And I spoke to the secretary then. He was called Sam Quake. And I promised him that I'm going to form a branch in Sheffield. Musa, I started NDC Sheffield branch from hospital. We were 4. Now we have a full branch. And I won't tell you people who are in position. I've handed over branch to capable and professionals in this branch here. They're also trying to improve it nicely. Musa, I did not stop there. I've mentioned this before. I drove all the way to Scotland, Musa. We met at a certain lady's house. We were only 5. We met and I encouraged them that, look, you should start a branch. There was a gentleman called Dr. Yana. Now he's the chairman there. Musa, we have a whole branch in Scotland which is working nicely and growing nicely. And somebody gave me information that, chairman, we need your support in France. I'm moving there. We started the group meetings and other things. We brought them together to speak. Musa, for the first time, so many years, we have inaugurated a first branch in France, which is being led by one gentleman called Chairman Daku. Now, Accra is asking them to build more branches so that they can get the chapter status. So that is where we are heading to with France NDC. I've spoken to Germany. I've spoken to Italy. They are all waiting for us to come together so that we build the diaspora NDC within Europe. Those are the qualities we are looking for, Mansa Musa. My leadership style will involve advisory board from the Council of Elders because they have experience in this party. It is time we tap their experience so that we can grow this party. But there's another thing I've noticed for the past months. I've done a bit of research. You see, apart from our constitution, which is the national document for us in terms of our structure and operations, some of our leaders in the chapter produced a document called Standing Orders.
Okay.
And that document, Musa, I've gone through that Standing Orders document, which was produced for us by some of our council of elders. And me, Kwesi, I want to bring that document back for our operations. If we can still use the document as Standing Orders, I will recommend to my executive committee board that let's use it as operational manual for our chapter environment. That is going to help us a lot, because in that document, apart from the chapter electoral executive committee, we can create something called functional executive committee within us. That functional executive committee, Musa, who comprises of the women wing, the youth wing, the communication department. You're looking at the Zongo guys, Zongo caucus. You look at the professional bodies, all the organs. Musa, we need to put them together so that we look at the operations of the party in UK and Ireland. Musa, NDC is not only in London. Sometimes my brothers in London, I want to play with you. Kwesakwa is saying that the party in UK and Ireland is so big. It cuts across from North Ireland all the way down to London. So it's time we need to open our frontiers. Say, look, we need to move the party outside from London and take it somewhere else. That's why me, Kwesakwa, I want to challenge the party code. And look, it is time we need a chairman who will bring in a different mode of operations. And look, now we have a chairman coming from outside London. Let's reform the system. Then we see where we go from there, Mansa Musa. That is my main objective. That's why I step in the ring, Mansa Musa.
I see. Lastly, let me ask my question again. Saturday by 12 midnight. That is, I think, the time you guys usually finish. Even if there is a runoff, are we going to have Kwesiakwa as the chairman of UK Ireland chapter, NDC?
Sure, by His grace. If it is ordained by God to be so, it will be so, Mansa Musa.
And if it's not ordained by God, what happened?
Or if it is not ordained by God, whoever wins the chairmanship position, me, Kusakwa, I will congratulate that person, Mansa Musa.
Good to know.
This is what contest is all about, Mansa Musa.
That's good to know.
I'm not afraid of a contest.
You are not a bitter man. You are not a bitter person.
No, I'm not a bitter man. Musa, I stepped into this contest just to reform this chapter.
Yes.
I stepped into this contest to prove to others that, look, some of us were experienced, we were quiet, but for now, we want to step forward and challenge the status quo. That is what it is.
All right. I'll still give you 1 minute to run up for us.
Good. I would like to thank NFM Radio Station and their team and the management for giving some of us opportunity to speak through you to our listeners and the voters. Chairman Kwesakwa, I step in this contest just to make sure that if I'm giving the nod as the chairman of UK and Ireland, I look at the issue of the problems within the party, issue of lack of clarity when it comes to our operations. I'll listen to everybody. When I go to executive meeting, I'll be the last person to speak. Our reforms is something, it is on my agenda constantly, Mansa Musa. Then again, we have to look at the vibrancy of this party in UK and Ireland. The vibrancy, I mean, when you go to meetings, activities, programs, we need to make sure we improve on our vibrancy of the party in UK and Ireland. Musa, you know, the values of NDC is based on probity and accountability. So the issue of accountability, I have to develop a system whereby between myself and the finance team, there will be a quarterly operational report in terms of our income and expenditure, Musa. This party, our income is based on our dues, donation, and other things. I will produce a quarterly report to members to understand, especially the executive board and our members to understand that, look, this is the state of the party. Musa, I've talked of welfare programs I'm not going to say I'm going to get welfare officer. I say welfare programs where we are going to look at how we are going to support our members, especially our core members, our key members who are registered as members and they need support. The type of support you need. I've looked at it. I've looked at the issue of costing. How we going to cost it? When it comes to legal advice and everything, it's part of the program. You make sure members are supported with welfare issues. Not all of us can go into frontline politics or get ministerial position. We need to support everybody. I've also said that Council of Elders will play a key role in my administration. So voters, I want to plead with you. This job, one man cannot do it alone. Kindly vote for Chairman Kusiakwa on the number 1 slot. We only need a change, a new phase to lead this chapter. This party belongs to all of us. Everybody matter. You matter, the branch members matter, the executives matter, everybody, Mansa Musa matter, Kusiakwa matter. NDC is a broad mass party. So we'd like to thank all of you. And to our sympathizers who are listening tonight, we want to say that when the time comes and we knock your doors, that we need your support to go and support polling agents and election promoters. Please open your doors to us because we want to win power 2024. With JDM and with God on our side, yes, we can do it. I would like to say a big thank you for giving me this opportunity, Mansa Musa.
Before you give the big opportunity, thanks. You mentioned something about you will be your style will be that you will be the last to speak when you are having a meeting if you are voted as a chairman. So let me ask you, how is your governorship, your chairmanship going to be? Are you going to lead from the front or from the back?
Musa, I'm going to lead from the front. But however, you see, if we come to a decision making for the party's operations, you go into executive meeting with an agenda for the meeting. And you make sure you being the presiding officer in charge of the business of the day, you lead them and you guide the meeting successfully. So that at the end of the day, any decision that is reached by the executive committee, it becomes what must be implemented by myself and my secretary. So if I say I'll listen to everybody means that when an agenda is tabled to be discussed, Musa, as a chairman, you only guide individuals to submit their input on the decision on the table. If there's a consensus on the matter, so be it. If you have to vote on it based on majority decision,
NFM Radio,
so be it. But I'll make sure I will manage meetings in such a way that every executive member will be happy. Though some may criticize me, look, even if I'm criticized, I will take a criticism in good faith because sometimes criticisms make us better.
Sure. All right.
So I will lead from the front, Mansa Musa.
You.
As well as Mashar doesn't lead from the back, he leads from the top front.
All right.
Radio.
Okay. We thank you very much, Kwesi, for your time, and we'll talk again.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me opportunity, Mansa Musa. May the good Lord bless you and your station as well. Thank you so much.
Cheers, you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
NFM Radio.
Sydney Discotech, verano del 79, con la mejor música del mundo. Del mundo. Del
Okay,
mundo.
one.
Del mundo. Del mundo. Del mundo.
Ojaye. Ojaye.
Oxy, Oja, hey, Oja. You are listening to Mansa. Musa. The program is Fire with Benny. Is the Wednesday midweek edition. So I would say that everyone, each and every one of you, if only you are interested, if you have something to say, even if it's off topic, you are invited to come and speak. I am waiting for my guest from Accra to join me to discuss the demo. If you know what I mean, the demo which has been triggered, the trigger for now large demos in Ghana is all about the few 49 people or so that were arrested, unnecessarily by the police, the 37 military hospital car park area. Talking about car park, I tell you what, NFM Radio and TV studios, we have free car park. I mean, anyone who lives in London will tell you that if you are going for a meeting or any gathering outside your home and you have a car, especially when very soon it's going to be winter, rainy and everything, if you have a car, and you cannot drive the car to where you are going because you restricted parking places and spaces, we NFM Radio Studio, for us, we abound in car park spaces. So you are all invited. But then, I'm waiting to get the go-ahead from NDC's Clement Apak and also from Mr. Bernard Mona of the PNC. To discuss, to discuss the recent, this time the demonstrations can be seen to be demonstrations. It wasn't like a big brass band and a march past people dancing. No, it was a serious demonstration. So now, the demonstration has been triggered by the recent event at the 37 military hospital. That happened. So now what's going to happen is that people are going to go on demonstrations and the police cannot stop them. Even if they are restricted, still the demonstrations will happen. And, like today, when I watched Al Jazeera news telecast, and they announced on the news, main bulletin news, people demonstrating against, economic hardship and what do we call it? The Bank of Ghana's governor. It was, really. So you see that the pace it has been set. Everything is now in place for Ghanaians to demonstrate to any governorship, any party in power, that the power itself resides in Ghanaians. And not with those people who may be living the exclusive lives at the presidency. In Ghana's case, it will be at the, what do we call it? I was going to mention Lee Bridge Road, but that one is in London. This one is Flagstaff House. That is his Jubilee House. Anyway, Mr. Kennedy.
Hello, Mansa.
Kwaba. Ayo. Kinedwed, me bo ayi bi minim se wa de wasemba ma me nkai kakra se me bo tape bia chema wontumi to Canada Japan for the first time wontumi akasa ma me kura me ho adwiri mi Canada Japan ni gidigidi o ye nyina se wa ma wontumi kura mpo yi ne ho aditi se dia ono na ye the smart guy o ana ho ni say akwa aba.
O question o DS ya me the back question na me free nyenti ya me friend nti ma me ti hono free answer
me kai me ka madafo bia na me di agro be ma camp akwa ejimi ewura dinyame agro woni ni so ye nyina na agro ni bo de ejimi kura dodo etimi suma no ema nipa osma ni tifie koto gari ni esi kire bra na bibisa brodo nipa ni tifie komo dino otumi akwa kodu na Oh, hema mineni na ni refi ade a oba beto.
Sir. I want to me asem no.
Ebeba refi.
The fan na ama me referee ni nti am friend. Ma me nti on free one sir.
Ayo, mate.
Yeah. Needi nka no mete Sir Francis nka chairman akwa. Na okasa along the line na ka me frebra na ola no so kra but minya visitor bi. Anti ma me call off kakra one 70 but nya mete ya ama mediation and crying and the position away, you know. I wish him well. I wish him all the best. Obakaya, there was a time na one contest here na HTB cost of Emma made dance beer this almost contestants no and aspirants no who say former President John Mahama wom me who Baumia wom me who Canada Japan wom and my commission ya go in line with President Mahama no the any film Chama Bamba or current or munyina lebu no say or outgoing no film on the Osha NPP contest your muko ya number 1 Canada Japan, number 2 Baumia, number 3 or the saying 3 Koto and number 4 or the say Mamponi Adenimo. NDC UK Ireland chapter the Mati first and second Minyante third and fourth no. And I don't want to know because never now be advert or more positions no. I think the be here or more amra no metal more or NFM Radio. So Ntino me who say Sydney see chrono sana etia on say in comsha a wenny moon is NPP or more presidential first contest bano ya 12 ya bobo positions na o modano ne sunsan so sa na be kwakwe yeah first second third fourth no market on the wall unless anything dodgy ebem senior
enti o ba che se ba obia na be wini na akompra kwa edi second
no so ref ya me ka akompra ko na that first and about me that second okay. And akoto free that third at the end of fourth sa na results no so be unless dem dia be show no che say dodgy team bi ekoso and as say beba na sa na me hu no wo UK Ireland contest on Saturday say results na aba no and in advance no me say chairman akwa congratulations at least in the position now what done no there I think good luck for him and all the aspirants no so I wish them all the best especially number 2 yeah me 13 in our radio show Dr. Joe and yeah the BC memneda na fe no ejebo na bibia bawie ya amobia hu sweetness
unza che I so bia bro
ai omo akra omo ntina den
Jesus Christ
say ga omo nyina omo pe bibia tena da omo ntina den omo akasa omo sunsun omo apempem omo ma say no bia adwo but omo try say after Saturday no the BC bia no be reconcile na omotimi atutu ni emeyi anyesa ebe hajen hodie no kakra me kanono back to Chema to me the press conference on say counter press conference so ekoso yeah one friends or kana na on dikene chino so ede mema yuntu na adia ekoso NPP mo no enyenwanwa se ebrebi atwam Kennedy edia hometie blase NPP for se sebi buku sem no dos no nyansa pa de do no any bi no. I'm tempting to believe said they all can Musa because me who say MPP party no more no. Omo need leaders say. Omo need leader. There's no leadership. No leadership in the party. Because leadership no ye juma anka ni party no ni sunsa so a ekro nka ni se toaso ekosa.
Na sa situation no why now this so bobo no.
May the bebo the national executives and the national council no. So council of elders or whatever they call them now. Hakman Usia Ajmaine or they saying former Speaker of Parliament Makope Munyan Nemono. They are not clever. Excuse me to say. They can't read in between the lines. Omuni and Iswadi Hunu. So almost idea and Omuhuna audience or Monche. Excuse me to say they are my fathers. But that is how I see them. The leadership
say there na influence sa suban sa character traits no. Yemfumundi ana say ayonyini keke.
Say omo makwan ama ense bi manipulate omo adwene. So asem we che Mansa di hu komokra ma aba che Mansa of all people minority majority leader or called minority no about majority of no akwa si we majority leader yasa man or whatever minister no. He said it and sabi and control omo nti almost need balls are almost take decision apart from the nanado and the cough from Becano and age man. But it doesn't work like that. So
see, the point in is say who say why who say your fans say why MPP no UP tradition they try on from any criminal case. No, but still an wujina chire enti wo tumi ka ensem amanfo ntumi ka asema wo kan ametwa anu yi wonim say e krom ha conservative for said any last day of their annual conference aya omo year conference no and so mo wie na wo hwe opposition of what party ni mu against some decisions be prime minister no ankasa taking no. Even though the prime minister was standing firm, but sa opposition no ye be free MPP group no mo say aban when they say party say but aban no enhihye no e ma party no enya kono a omom gugu top ni nyina obi asuro fere and that is wrong. Anna
that is what is going on. That is nipa biye yomo or party no last time na Kennedy kasa na o man fatu hu be about Gideon and in the army no in the Bible nipa no bi yomo or party no womo na ya srafo a nyame chusu womo ma Gideon say on for mo kokon no. Those were the soldiers and army for womo edi womo sabo nsuo no na omo nombra na omo watch no. But the greedy ones no ya na omo ye bi omo subani nyina say omo be betray Gideon no where those are womo ebu nkotoge ede womo anu bo nsuo no mu na womo num firi nsuo no mu no. There are these two type of people in the NPP now. Share kwabena Japan. Womo ye campaign na okra wo admale no nsem bia oka.
Yeah.
One you turn away and saying, or say, the mammy 10th anniversary, Okoyi Bati Baumia, or no, and nature my wound to me, ya or no, and nam you to me so, and I walk and a Japan, and nipa bi aka ho woni afoko party de atwemo as in saying ne ama wabeye the Musa woni name that because of no kofio yeah a bit me free baby abenti on say any na wo twekura wo twa u10 o say di ba obi achi na no so hu ana woni ko
say nya ni nyina na me feel say ye relevant as such into no wo kan ya ye di hu komodi na che say ya dia I see ehwe ni ye say
this is exactly what is going on in the party. In the chairman to me, na sema adishia me to was working biaka no. Ono ankasa no himself no se party ni serious a. E free bra e koba se na do de ne presidency to so se all fight against Galamsey. Na on live television obey gold bars. E de chere ye bra na sa bre no kra no ahokyere e wo man no mu wo manu aduane aye dene enti wo mo ye gather and sell a friend Galamsey bi na abai no ya we member of the party no yes ordinary person but the heart of the party who now your regional chairman yeah obi ansu nim say won so ye Galamsey bi e wona ase say we man mining adwene ben na beba utiri mu se nyansa se bia bu se bia nya do a nyansa wo utiri mu as a leader as a regional chairman e di adwene na beba utiri mu se otu for a good year or to form a good year nyatika ko as a gubag mu wo TV station or radio station Tibetan TV so na yi gold bars no facture Ghana for e di adwene sa adwene ne ye adwuma untumi until a free sabre no basic sabre ya or their press conference shana no lanche Martin resign she concert or you know ni station yo until me no to me no for now no onye relevant ada enye Kumasi ho na Kennedy Koya oko Lambaster no
but this now all can be no to asumu say o Kennedy we didi obia tem waka sai ndi waka wa didi obia tem na ono ene wontumi na ka say why yes ama swal yewu all those things now all mention no serious comments to make against
last time no credit me no ya adwenia o kano me ditum sa but last time ona me can same bitrao say Kennedy yi a wayi niti no Ghana for do no ya omutie ni nsem a woka enna yenim ni suban yenim ne ye yenim the good and the bad of and the ugly of Kennedy Japan now no se wa ko DJ atem se nam no so ma metsuale ewuo se wa ma analysis se na nojo anana no brotuo se wo didi atem so pento kwa nya no na Ghana for always is here enti dia of the say this guy went to me ebeka ni ya woken no enye news to any Ghanaian say Kennedy didi je for atem say Kennedy I say enye news but say no ne nsem a woka any goodwill Ghana for do no enya wonumu no I can tell you say enye de the ugly side of him no and na nipa no eka but ye share charisma ekrano and then a goodwill say ni do a wo mo man no
So ne patriotism. That is what people are looking for. It's not about Swakontokwa Nameswale who. I mean, last time now I was referring this to you. NDC party. It started from, what do you call it? Revolution.
Violence.
Your mama said it. Said they were born, NPP were born out of violence. But here are the case. Look at the people who follow NDC. They are not in for violence now. And nothing like Martin said, "What a butterfly as a symbol." Yeah, or they pushing for movement for change. Butterfly shall hear from baby, not watani, not wabe beautiful, and then I'm So, nipa esusisa. For whatever reason, Namsoma NDC by opinion the history of NDC. But now the people in the NDC, that is not what they are championing for. So, nipa opia on ups and down. Now not can be ne bad and ugly, no nagana for sure. To do one in a chino. But almost
me fan said, do one no I didn't know. Are you saying honestly, said, yeah, my dream no, because, sir, ye dream dra, ye could president. Obia, Okamwa, decision bia ba Okam be your support ye. A dear beer, dear man, a many Hunia, ye about Ghana for you now, so no, Okamubi. Listen, or no, but now say, hey, Monto Mami, now crop me and crop for the Macani before they are looting. Omu we had to say the Ochinani wa. Into your no cancer, no petness and crofo, Edinechi.
Near all cancer, Yajunimun no. I totally disagree with you. And I meet you ranting.
You.
And now you were trying to label him as a chief. If you remember. Now at that time, I'm not many young Kubina 8-year-old. Na small car, nanka bin pesa me for but what they for there. The baba be see.
Yango.
And na all can hey all can say and I'm saying me young con back on me 30 in power radio so no. Na on say journalism no. Onye neutral.
Oh, me a neutral.
Oh, yes.
Me a neutral. No, me a neutral. Me a neutral.
Okay. Hey. My main cousin, neutral.
Oh, Bia, Abambabing. Me tea, sir. Oh, no, Yaman 600,000. No, 2 was it. What can say neutral and Yanukre? Abambabi just 600,000 or the question we are here. Emma be Bonetiama and yes, I make a beside tro. Means someone can see me tro. Everyone cry, Musa made sending message. I thought we were coming. Nasa, me no obianoa, me feel say, oh, this money no, meka. It is okay, say me neutral. Me neutrality no. There be both can Edward, baby bakope and a minion neutral. And what the other family trap, any incremism. And what the minion neutral crap, and the man can me boy. I want to make us a minion fembo. Because in Kurman in the Chame food, they said, yes, we the chance from neutrality and all the young Casa. Can I say,
be a neutral na me de share hono and
enjoy
me yes enjoy go further to explain yourself for me year free ho.
Okay.
But journalism no, you are like Kwekubako.
Okay.
Journalist. You are like Kwesi Platt. Journalist. You are like Kwame Shifakain.
Yeah.
So what I say, you are like Kevin Taylor. You are like Adomochre. Even though no moka or minimum seminar in general, no obien in baby amujina in your journalist.
Fair enough.
Teacher, they are on your objective. Correct? And she said, minion neutral in free. What type of journalism are we here? Kwekuba Kondier, Kwesi Pratt, dear, Kwame Sifakain, Kevin Taylor, Adomochre. Kakra meet me account for now, no.
Munina no be otie more journalists, you know, yeah, or yeah, objective, no, when baby amugina. Into back to and come and run now, dear, or rant in the mono. Me uncle be an amenity or no, because na dear seminar, papa, ye can so Mansa Musa, dear, meaning baby, or went here, Hamis or Casa, and was now all Casa can near the Japan. Sesa na tie na minim baabi a wugina na sesa anamon no so na wugina dia se wo ka se kene de Japan ye kronfo dia eni na John Mama so no yen ka se oyam roba na this is the Kennedy dia apart from the or the saying chema won to me abekan se wo didi atem enam no so amaka your offense Adam or the say ameswale ewu wo didi je atem ne adinti no Did you be at me Pahua, Obi any monoa? Meaning say corruption allegation back up crabit my Faton target Kennedy. Apart from the enemy say or Boa party man power, even NDC time of Grano Timinia contract or Bemu. That's the only thing. Says you could buy all man contract P and now yeah, no nya contract P. Else Nipano be or party no almost any contract be. Apart from that, you cannot mention one corrupt allegation against Kennedy Japan. Not even one that I can remember. But the former President John Dramama has been labeled so many corruption allegations against him.
And I improve
I'm talking about, I mean, underline the words that I'm using. Allegation. Many corrupt allegations are the target the former President Mahama, but you cannot even mention one. And he said, oh yeah, sympathize among NDC. Now because Kennedy a Cromford, yeah. That was what my friend was telling me.
No worries. Friend no
that's right.
Because Ghana no if one of those you know be
NPP assemblies. Oh, a choir of friend dying. Boache Jacon rather.
Yes.
Boache Jacon at first was he say what stable back. She choir and nam so Alan Trematin say or say what free party no more. They say or dini movements.
And then baby.
And that's right. They say near NPP party no corner near your friends say or they saying Mansa Bonsu party leaders no including this guy yeah can I say we want to mean or more yeah no they are destroying the party. And I'm telling you say
they say one party destroy party no. Canada Japan all to two Emma Ghana for say MPP for a yes can nyafu. Any one to me are all to be Macane Japan. Any a chairman sabon so I saw Jan Finfia, oh, who they are no fancy, or the sea ana poop, or the sea ana fat. Any, I mean, why partner destroy by any anadwa, I say we ain't found who we are such as already. And the bush of when you're mohim. Make a kind because hey, mammy can't because my meaning so busy the Mahama Babetum. But why partner SM party?
Near all say party no number one. Eye Kufuado. 2 eye enipa bi ti say chema won to me Mansa Bonsu ene wona anka omo ye leaders nenso omo edi omo ni e kire fa kon ya omo pese omo de ahoma ebehye party no ekon no they are destroying the party. Canada Japan ninsam o kan no ogina bibi so ena odekasa se obetie ni yie pa hwe nia wo kan nansana sembi okoka ye na ebinum se wo ye tribalism but na oka asia sembi so ba omia ko baby I'm saying a slim ho baby, me jina ho Emma mo and cremofo, me jina ho Emma zongo for and tea mumunti and friends say me kwama mo or nan send a campaign mukro kujina baby and then zongo for say be among faba umiama na se mo de ba umiaba dia zongo for say a betwamano. I mean, is this the reason why our person obey a leader of the party now obey a president of the Republic of Ghana is on go fontra?
Oh, mistakes are obey label against synchrophobia say they are making, you know. Oh, Bini say people ye kasa who synchrophobia or party more they don't give the proper or the required advice and not say even criticism. Send a bayaka nyoma besisa. The same thing I was wooye. They say Okasa ni no. Oh, akwai ti say. Misa be kaba. Okay. Okasa ni nyina akwai ti say. Dia kana Japan be kanu nyina no. Oh, jina bibi so. Oh, jina bibi so bibi nti Okasa. Nemom dia obia foforo be kanu. Enu dia ye boni. Say okay. After me busa question. Question is say. Wo no wo support to kana Japan. Nti no aso also London have almost an year more politics. As one to me, and one day with honesty will stand out. Wakuma so say, where the one can ye, and no can come to me yet.
Okay, Diana or Kara one can ye. I mean,
the Waki company now me say, and they won't to me as so much the way or can in Semono. Won't to me on your but me bo me say won't me no biama me but won't me some more church room won't me small boys you on oka where do we at them where the judge we at them why debi oka say twemu a adia onu kan Japan ya ema nkrofo etirimu nyomu de omu hihyi omu abrabo se nyoma nkoye ni ade no oni de oya oso atwem analysis bibiso they are me pay free now I'm tackling you direct. They are me pay free one say you as a state person obia aba krom ha no say na politician mu ye no enka ubetumi kasa where they wan kan ye this is the last meeting last NDC for asem yo ma kan kura atwem a omunya kura ke ye were fia me kofa bai say bibiti say me ti say kan Japan ka criticize tourist minister say or the na ebe promote tourism na ade na ye nsem kasa hunu me ne ya adwen e wala me so we ka say sa NDC for manifesto bia omo so on basisi mochre ama muslimi for no enu se ye hunu bebre me kai won enye se bibia no a o support wana ho na ye wo de no bibia ye ese o defend ese utumi gina na so ka say we de ohuyanko wanka say na ma hu se we be ma
say currently no idea some na Canada aka
the party nankasano we are sure say you very good say the campaign style now I to say onu kwa na ne hutwa e MPP mu na omo maka nyina ye wifo ne akrofo no we are the papa for the parties of the papa mu
very good what is the point na me ko chire kakra me no sure asia ye ka say awobo tema untumi ne press conference ye ne na sama walka wosi o tu Kennedy for when he aje hoin the kako see say Kennedy no or the good the bad and the ugly
yes
inti say me describe ni pebitisa it doesn't mean say me support on say ne all ye bia ye because me ankasa mamu hu say or the good side the bad side and the ugly side man can be bisa very good. Enti mamu ohunu the type of person na me support no. Say onye clean. Even Jesus Christ said, Obi ko bisa na say chire for pa menye den na manya dankwa. O say adenti na ofre me papa, obi anye papa, Jesus oba akopɛ ono ne agya no.
Ma yanko ye friend is saying
nanka wo ka bibi obi abazona
for no omo zoom no so ejina so ache na kami mkobu so omo so adwen
ani mama mfa manunsi just a minute enti bia na wo kan say waka ne nia wa ye nyina achi no hwe nya no na nipa dodo ya ye di na chi a meka ho bie no ye hwe wo but ye hwe ne nipa e wonu mu ne papa wa ye ene na hofama ene ne esi na ni so ne nsem a efiri nanum ba with passion with ye esi na ni so ni creativity ne can do spirit
NFM Radio
now ni nsem a okeka o party ni mu a obesusu say all say party no a me hu say ne no kre na oka no was the NPP for a year or mine sika as if there is no tomorrow. They
be sending the Okano. It's true, Ghana 4%, but we are sure, say, or no, in Crawford to mean cabin fan.
So why are they?
Okay.
Kabakuma minti away and some training.
Only the onye
Kabakuma. Over catch them and say, can I
say, about 100 million so found to talk electric bulb or CBB.
Well, yeah, who Juma electric bulbs no be and say also they come or they say risk course of 4 man no much
and yeah good to say. Yet, Bessie says, Sikapudo, the man said, Kofa, address for Abra, Obia or ye upright is ano, or Hanny Pepper Moore, me boy.
Yeah, or no, Kofa, Joasa for a buy.
And you're not a car story. Let me tell you a car story. Or not a car story, say this come
now, listen, Medimanusi, Nafe, also, one man for Francois Bemono. Shani a course on saying, I was Cecilia Dapa, Nifie. Ya na ba wa ekofa ni sike na nado de na nu tumu se ma mene so wa resign o sense o sake no ne letter wo tire so kai bi
yo yetie pa
as a president ya o minister edisike pudio etisen edi ahye ne demu na ehon akobasem na wo omampanyi ya wo pa no wo so resign se wo sake no wo resign ya wo ka bibia kire no utien se wo za ka kire no Canada Japan right from day one ya Jubilee House wo mo na wo ho o dey say Eugene Ahen ne nkrofo wo ko ho ani ejo 220,000 or so ni nyina waka ase akeka me no ka se na no wo ka sika amanfo wia even Greater Accra regional minister on the lobby man no man in the ministerial position no waka the corruption all year and sase all town e wo oman no afre emu abana sase won kan ho ye bi kura all town bi man no $200,000 yeah asemno kura no akopie court or kan we mu nyina these are things are cause of party no mu enti mehunu mekanti so nieni muso mode tme so ana.
All right, yo Mati, a good question.
And pass on all pa mama so no enye nanum na yani do na emom ni yi entia Ghana for.
Ayo. Thank you very much, King Edward.
Mansa Dasipi Mansa Musa.
Ayo. Right. I can't say this is fire will burn you. But I always have to qualify that it's not literal, just metaphorical. Oh, yeah. Hey, Marcos and Nana Kwashi. I think you guys are on Zoom. You can unmute your microphones and join me to discuss, if you may. What would really be this fire? Fire will burn you. Then you realize you don't have to play with fire. Fire will burn you. Fire will burn you. Fire will burn you. Fire will burn you. right. Or say fire will burn you. Marcos Akwaba, or good evening. Welcome, Marcos.
Yes, hello, Mansa Musa. How are you?
I did like I know they. I did good. Oh. And you?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Where have you connected me from?
I'm connecting you from all the way Cape Coast in Ghana.
Brilliant. Now, Cape Coast for what then?
Bibia boko, Bibia ya fine wa.
Yeah, then you say. Ghana for
awo
Jesus Christ. Anyway, I'm not being smug here because something more Ghana awo by it. I mean, temperature is just relative. Either way, wherever you live, whether it's too hot or too cold, it's relative, Intimate as I think me and Mashim because the chroma you gotta waba now. Anyway, okay, go ahead.
Political temperature is or you're hot, papa.
I see. Now, Mammy Miso, Cape Coast, him for side, Kasafi.
Mekasafi a Abra area, Abra.
I see. Maybe Sanfono. Maybe Sanfono a mouthful. Agree Memorial on this side one.
Yes, that's around Brafuya area.
Yes. Those kind of area. I remember those days. Very long time ago. I'll tell you, long time ago. I was a wee kid. When my parents were in Europe. Na meketra me na nchen wo abrodun kwa. And every one akwama na wodima begwai. E ma bamante ho. Na ho na me besua aboboi. E koto. Na mante no oton nyama wo kotokraba. Na yes. Miko huna aboboi di. Nti Cape Coast yeah. Anyway, abahai what has brought you here? What is the Nkomona pede inyimidi?
Nkomona, I am a follower and I was interested in your topics. Now, this particular one, I was just tuning in to see the discussion and then see where I can also contribute. But
exactly.
It looks like in there quiet kakra. But
yeah, it is true. Nakamechen either Clement Apak or Bernard Mona. Ma yedin komo. But try as I may. I mean, I've tried and both of them earlier on kado. Let's talk later. Until I was expecting that by now they are, but still I make sure one phone ring all right. But I'm not getting any joy from them. And the topic was about the Mona Accord. I wanted to discuss that with them. Then the Monusufiwa, the issue of Okanden MPP, Nimunsem. Today this guy won to me is talking like a statesman. The way he talks about Canada, Japan. There's so much turmoil in that party. And really, yes, this is a beginning of a sad end for them. But I know that one penny, I don't know what, I mean, maybe I may be wrong. I don't know where or what you think about those issues.
I mean, when it comes to politics, and generally, I'm more or less, I'm more persuasion NDC. I won't be able to contribute when it comes to the MPP. But I think on my part, NDC, we have to make sure that constantly, we put our best foot forward. Then so manifesto-wise, we let people know how best we can also help the young ones to and also develop progress, create jobs, so that they will not be doing all the little the vices here that is going around the should I say a armed robbery, speed of armed robbery or increase, and all sorts of things. I hope they at least we give them a run for their money, so that at least it's one Ghana, so that we all can see Ghana no. Afanin tamper we fra. Na yensu su at least. Yensu we are making headway. This is where I see
yeah, but
moment.
you being of the NDC persuasion, that means the current Choboi demonstration, you must be concerned either, softly or mildly happy, taking things in your stride. But my question there now, no, the mistake that the police made and arrested 47 or so people the other day, that has energized many Ghanaians. So now, why don't you all guys take the advantage of that opportunity to organize, demonstrations? The police or demonstrator, you have a lot of issues to demonstrate about. Demonstrate against the regional minister or something. Why are you guys not doing that? Because now, even if the police restrict your movement, it's still a demonstration. You get the Al Jazeera and CNN and other people like today, their news bulletin, no. So what are you guys doing? Are you always looking up to the top men and the top gurus before you act?
Demonstration were very tricky because I can demonstrate to Pia. I mean, I'm sure you lose your eye, and I lose your eye.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, the peaceful demonstration, the police will restrict you. Okay, you people can pass here, because the recent, what has happened has opened the floodgate there. Now the police, they will be ashamed to go to the court to go and restrict. They will allow, but they say, oh, don't go here, don't pass it. Even if they do that, still, you can have your demonstration anyway. Why don't you use that opportunity? That's what I mean.
The opportunities are all, but them American, all sorts of, they will use all sorts of strategies. They can even be planting people to cause confusion in your demonstration.
I don't know how old are you before I go forward. I mean, you can't don't tell me your proper age, but at least are you in the 50s, 60s?
I mean, late 40s.
Okay.
Late 40s.
So mid 40s, and obviously, Sebi, you also Jamina also kwasia na ewu. Also kwasia na ewu na obi ampeso bewu metiase. But to that character now, you are telling me, as if there you are an armchair supporter. You don't want to hit the streets. You want others to hit the streets for your goals to be met. And also, me feel there on your papa, and now maybe I'm wrong.
Knowing the organ and the impact it makes it. Good baby, you end up actually hurting yourself. Either physically, and I be on the mature in terms of a democratic dispute. That is where I'm problem no one. Problem.
he's ready to join us on Zoom. And so,
wonderful.
Right. So, Mr. Kwashi, you want to tell me you are an armchair supporter, right?
No, I do my bit, but I don't do it too aggressively, or I don't demonstrate too much. But I would say I'll do my foot soldiering in Cape Coast. I have my ways of dealing with the youth around here, talking to them, listening to their pleas and their needs. And I also find a way, a nice way to put it across, So indirectly, we're all doing our bit. So yes, when it comes to a demonstration, wild demonstrations, so far nothing has presented itself here. Nobody has come forward for us to do anything aggressive. I think we're all relying on the.
And Commander Yezino, Obitewa Echira, feel that I'm encouraging violence or enticing people to do what or not to do. I'm not talking about violence or aggressive or aggression. All what I'm saying is the Ahuchira or Bano or Kodono, if you really do feel it, if you really want, to persuade the government to change or to try to convince other people they are buying more in India, you guys have to demonstrate, whether your work colleagues or your community, about maybe about sanitation problems, no public bathrooms or public toilet facilities, no proper roads, the school dino or school diner bubu, no proper places of so many issues. If that is really the case, you guys have to demonstrate. And demonstration doesn't mean you have to be violent.
Yeah.
Anyway, me introduce Mr. Bernard Mona. I think either he's still with them or he was formerly with PNC. I don't know where he stands now. But Mr. Mona, good evening and welcome to Mansa Musa Show and NFM London.
Evening, sir.
Yeah, thanks for your time. Even though I know your schedule is very, very tight. If I knew you were going to wear the Ghana shirt, I would have worn mine as well. Now I feel cheated. You are looking too pretty, too shiny. I'm jealous. But on the serious side, I was saying something. Are you still with the PNC, or you are now former of the PNC?
I'm a former national chairman of the PNC. I am now a member of the PNC. I hold no executive position, but I remain a loyal and committed member of the People's National Convention.
Oh, I see. That is good to know, because I remember I was watching one of these your exposures on one of these television things, and you were making the argument that, you see, my own party, they didn't invite me or something. You were saying that, so I was thinking, is it that they've sidelined this guy or something? But I don't know. Tell us a little bit before we talk about the contemporary issues.
First and foremost, let it be on record that I am probably the most privileged young Ghanaian to ever occupy a political position. Whilst I was in school, I managed to found the tertiary institutions network of the PNC, which we call TERIC. From school, I moved and I worked in the General Secretary's
NFM
office
Radio.
as his aide. I subsequently became the National Youth Organizer and moved on to succeed my General Secretary as a General Secretary. Later, I became the National Chairman of the party. All these positions that I occupied in contemporary Ghanaian politics, I have remained the youngest person to occupy those positions at the time that I occupied them. And so in 2020, when we did the National Delegates Conference, the party chose some other person for National Chairman as against me. And so even for institutional memory, probably I remain the longest serving national officer of the party, having moved from National Youth Organizer to General Secretary for 2 terms to National Chairman. And of course, before then, working as an aide to the General Secretary, I probably carry some of the memories of the party that no other person carries. And so, administratively, and by our party constitution, I'm supposed to be a National Executive Committee member. But since the party leadership changed hands, neither was I called for a handing over ceremony. They just went and took over the office. They started operating, whether some assets in the office belongs to me as a person or not, and I remained quiet. But decisions of the party requires all of us to input in. I remain a member of the party, despite that I don't hold a national executive position, and I grudge no one for it. After all these years that the party privileged me with being an executive from youth to general secretary to chairman, some other people contested and the party did not favor them. So I have never raised any grudge with the party. But it does not take away from the fact that when the party leadership change hands, they should invite everybody so that we can put our knowledge to bear. We don't influence the way they should run the administration, but we can contribute ideas. It is the absence of such that has put our party in the turmoil that we find ourselves, where a general secretary can arrogate to herself the powers of being the institution of the party. National chairman thinks that once I am national chairman, I am the party. Leader of the party thinks that once I'm the leader, I am the party. And therefore, there is conflict. And that conflict is the reason for which the PNC cannot do anything in unison since I left office. You will recall that anytime somebody does something, a general secretary will issue a statement distancing the party from it, including the recent Bank of Ghana protests, that the PNC members were part of it. The general secretary just got up and sat in her comfort and issued a statement that if any PNC member participates in this demonstration, that person was going to be ostracized or taken to court. They dared her and went ahead because the party does not belong to one person. And as a socialist political party, you fight for the welfare of citizens of our nation. If you are not a socialist, then the PNC cannot be the party you should belong to. And so all these things must be made clear. And that is probably the reason for which you heard me speak on Peace FM, that my own party has never invited me for any meeting whatsoever since we lost power or office to the new executives since 2020.
I see. So, a lot. I wasn't, I've got more than I really expected or bargained for, which is really rather, how do I say it? I would say I'm grateful for that. So let's go into your personal politics a bit before we talk about contemporary issues, the demos and its advantages, its achievements, and the rest. So now, the criticism going around that, look, Mr. Mona, having gone through all these problems in his own party, he, to put it in the street language, he couldn't hack it. His own party, he can't organize. He can't get people to work together. So who should take him serious? How can he say he can manage public office or political office? What do you say to that accusation or criticism?
Well, everybody can make any accusation, but first and foremost, I have been a successful farmer, and I'm sure that the record will show that not many young people of my age and of my exposure go into farming. As we speak, I have a 250-acre planted maize. I have a 180 acres of soya bean. I have some 85 cattle, and I have some 15 horses on my farm. I'm sure that you will relish the moment to have something like that. Beyond that, I do minor things that will support me. And so I contribute not only to feeding myself and my family, but I contributing to feeding our nation and helping in ensuring food sufficiency, right? And I have said, and as a farmer, I know this as a fact, that anytime someone is hungry, the person is angry. And when someone is angry, he becomes a danger not unto himself alone, but a danger unto society and a danger unto our democracy. Food is a national security issue. So if I am able to contribute such towards the food needs of this nation, I've contributed to sustaining our democracy by ensuring that people at least get to feed. Probably, President who likes kenke so much, President Akufo-Addo, probably some of my mates has contributed to making the kenke that he eats. Who knows? And anytime you come to Ghana and you eat any Ghanaian dish, it's possible that some of my farm produce would have gone there. Because the produce that go into the market, nobody knows which farm they have come from. Right. So on that, I continue to pride myself that I have done something, not only for myself, but also for the nation. I have worked for the Ghana Internal Revenue Service before, and as an accounts officer, tax assistant grade 3. My record at the Internal Revenue Service is not in secret. Everybody knows my contribution in that. I've also worked at the Kwame Nkrumah Centenary Planning Committee, and I pride myself, and because I worked with a team of very distinguished Ghanaians that will not do anything to undermine public purse. Whilst we worked and we had money, we returned to the state 2.4 million Ghana cedis. When the money was returned to Martin Newman, who was then chief of staff, I worked under Professor Akil Akpasoya as the chairman, and I was the executive secretary. When the money was returned, Martin Newman did not take ownership of the account. Then Julius Debra came. We wrote a letter to Julius Debra to take ownership of the account and its content. They did not. It was not until Freema Pare came as chief of staff that we wrote the final letter and sent to Freema Pare and handed over the centenary account, because it was the state that established that, and surplus money we returned. It is evident that we never, because nobody was monitoring what was happening at the centenary office. So I could have said that having worked and done the job which we have executed successfully, we could have probably decided to share the money. And as I told you, it was money from the chief of staff office, and we returned it to the chief of staff, 3 different chief of staff, until finally Freema Pare took over the account. That is my record in public service. In private service, I worked with Beacon Insurance Company in Ghana. I worked for Youth Agenda in Kenya. And of course, I worked with Law Associates. I have distinguished myself in the many things I have done. In my political activism, I have done activism from the Gambia to Burkina Faso to Togo, and to, as for Ghana, I need not talk, right? So what else do you want to see in a young man who has dedicated his all to fighting for justice across the globe? Because anytime I smell injustice, I clinch. And so, yes, it is possible for people to say that in the political party, I could not have done what I want to do. But of course, no one doubts that since I became National Youth Organizer, a lot more young people entered and ventured into Ghanaian politics. Most of them, if you ask them, they took inspiration from the manner in which I conducted myself. I became General Secretary, and many people took inspiration from it. So even across the other political parties, I have served as an inspiration to many young people. That you cannot subtract from my record.
Brilliant, brilliant. I guess you understand my position. Nothing of a sort of doubting your integrity, but every time it's always very good to put.
I think that probably it's important that people get to
exactly. It's always good to put the record straight and make
where I said.
Go ahead.
Where I said, when people ask me what is my achievement, I ask you to go to society and ask them, hey, I am probably one of the young politicians who work. As I speak to you, you can see the way I'm dressed. When you were calling and I was not picking, I was playing basketball. I just jumped out of the basketball to sit in somebody's office.
No wonder you are still looking very young, even though you are in your 80s. Listen, so talking about you being a successful farmer, would you say you have benefited from some of these very lovely sloganish programs like planting for food and jobs and food for, cattle and all those. Have you benefited? Tell us about that program and how you think it has improved farming or otherwise.
To be honest with you, I think that Dr. Kuto Afriye managed the program very poorly. Mm-hmm. It should have been a program that could enhance food self-sufficiency in our nation. And when Brian Achampon took over as minister, he came out with a novel policy that I thought was workable. And I was one of the people that commended him. And indeed, I spoke to him personally. And he even told me, and I called my farm manager, that Bernard, instead of doing 500 acres of planting, increase it to 1,000. So we went putting our resources to clearing more land. And so we did clear more land. After we cleared the land, because what did they promise? They promised that they were going to give us input support. So whatever input you wanted from seed to fertilizer to other chemicals, the ministry was going to make available to us. And then when we harvest, we will supply the cost component of that to the national buffer stock. And then that will be it. And I thought that it was good because many farmers, what we suffer is the inputs. And once we can get input and we have land, we could go developing more land and to plant more food. Ask me what we did. After we did the land, I can tell you that in excess of 150 acres of land that we have cleared, we reached a point when we're calling our minister. He was not responding. So we feared that if we planted, we couldn't get the fertilizer and others to support it. And we did not plant it. So if you ask me, I would think that I've expended more resources in clearing land because I believed in the fidelity of my minister's word. And I went to expand more land. And at the end of the day, that support never came. But of course, as the farmer that I have been, I still maintain my 500 acres of land, when in fact, probably I could have increased it a little further. But that not said, I think that the policy in terms of its content looks attractive. If government can go ahead to give people proper farmers, not party boys who say that they want to go and do farming. Because farming is not just for people to go and experiment. If you go and experiment, you try it on a small scale. If you come to want to start large-scale farming with experimentation, master, you run away. I started my farm with 2 acres, for instance. I moved to 10 acres, and I started with my national service money. For several years, I was doing 10 acres until I got to 34 acres. And until the year 2021, that I got to 200 acres, and now we are about 500 acres. I started as a very slow farmer, and learning from my mistakes, I now know what to do and what not to do. And so if they will do the program right, and they will not distinguish between party persons and non-party persons, I can tell you that this program could succeed. But I have already suffered a negative from it because I was encouraged to go and do plowing, clearing of land, and the input never came. You would think that I have confidence to believe them the next time.
I see. So,
probably I'm not the only one.
This is very interesting. You see, we from the diaspora, we from far away, we can read as much as we can listen to everything. But you are on the ground, you know, and now we are talking about what you do best and what you know best, that is farming, agriculture, creating, providing, actually producing food or meat or whatever. Let me ask you, that program, what exactly does it entail? And I mean, what does it do? Is it that, the government we're giving people loans, giving them land titles, giving people seedlings, buying cows and sheep for people? What was it? What is the the practicality of the program, planting for food and jobs? Because we know all these things requires big time money. So tell us, what was it about?
There were of 2 modules. We had the planting for food and jobs, and we have for the rearing for food and for jobs.
Okay.
Right. So the rearing had to do with livestock, largely pig, sheep, goat. I am not aware of cattle, but these animals were given to support farmers, and they had some variety of animals that they gave you as a farmer. And then within a certain period, you were expected to pay back the value to the agency that might have given you the support. So, for instance, if they gave you 7 sheep, maybe they will give you 1 meal or 2 meal, and then the others to be female.
Yes.
After a certain period, 3 of them will be for you, and then it means that 4 will go to the government. Right. So this was the concept that they initiated with the planting, rearing for jobs and export.
Yes.
With the planting for food and jobs, what they initially started with, particularly in northern Ghana, was that they will ask you whether you have a title of land or you have land that is not under litigation. And if you had land up to 100 acres, clearing of land is very expensive. You know that.
Yes.
You need a bulldozer to go and clear the land. And the cost of a bulldozer is about 5,000.
Either big machines or you need about 100 men.
Yes.
100 young men. Not men like Mansa Musa.
in fact, to be honest with you, even if you need men, you will have to use a dormer machine or a chainsaw machine. That means that you will not be able to uproot the trees. And it will take a longer. So you need a bulldozer to be able to uproot most of the roots. So that if you are using equipment like a planter, which we have on our farm, you will not encumber difficulties on the farm. The tractor can also plow smoothly. So a dozer cost is about 5,000 Ghana cedis a day, excluding a drum of fuel that you need to buy every day to fuel it. And the dozer is able to clear, depending on the thickness of the forest of the area, 4 to 6 acres a day. Right. And so if you are talking about 100 acres, you need about 20-25 days to be able to clear that 100 acres of a dozer at 5,000 Ghana cedis a day plus 1 drum of fuel. So in a day, you are talking about 8,000 Ghana cedis that one needs to spend doing the job. So government decided to give people money and ask them to go and clear lands. So these persons will tell you that they have cleared 80 acres of land. And in actual fact, probably they have cleared 20 acres. So at the end of the first year of the implementation of this project, most party boys who got the money could not even repay the cost of the inputs that were supplied. So then the government had to realign the policy because people were not able to refund because it's supposed to be a revolving fund. So what then happened was that they changed the model. That look, you go and clear your land. When you finish clearing the land, we'll come and measure, then we'll pay you. Then most of the people that were initially given the contract to go and do now could not do it because they cannot go and rent the dozer, go and clear the land. It is measured and then they are paid. You understand? And that
so it looks as if the whole plan, the whole program was good on paper, but in practical sense, it was very difficult to implement. Then someone will say Ghana is a funny place because talking about bulldozers or earth moving machines and the rest, and we hear that some machines were seized from illegal miners and destroyed. I mean, what was the sense in that?
That is why we say that when you have people that are not thinking or common sense is not available to them, you can expect that running a nation also become a problem. So I have said of late that anytime you are walking around the market and you find common sense, buy some so that we can give to officials of state. Because I believe that some of them lack common sense, and that is why we are having these difficulties. Kwame Nkrumah established state farms.
I was coming to talk about the communal, the absence of the communal, what we call it, factor in all this.
Yes.
Take it away.
So obviously, if you come and you don't understand and you allow partisanship to come and take over, you realize that when people take party money, they believe that it's party money, our government is in power, we will not pay. But when we had the state farm concept, the state has its farms. Sometimes I ask the question, you say somebody has committed a crime, you put the person in prison, right? Then the person is being fed free. You are expending expenditure when you could have taken the person to a farm to produce the food that they will eat, so at least you don't spend so much money in catering for them. So sometimes we realize that when we say we want to punish people by sending them to jail, we rather put more economic burden on ourselves as a nation than to utilize the opportunities for them. When I was growing,
hello. Check your microphone. Your microphone is off, I think. Yeah, I think we are having signal problems with Mr. Bernard Muna. Hopefully that will be resolved. Yeah, I think we are back.
So clearly, we have people who think that the private sector, as they keep saying, is the engine of growth. And I have questioned that mentality. Do you see any engine moving by itself?
Before we get into that details, you see, honestly speaking, when we talk, what you have just mentioned, you see, the earlier, especially Africans, West Africans, third world people, will understand this. The earlier they will understand these small concepts, that even in advanced countries, even in the mother of all capitalism, it is the government here spending big sums of monies to either build infrastructure, the railway. As we speak, the Conservative Party have just finished their annual conference, and the Prime Minister have just announced that the price for a train system that they are building is too much, over 100 billion pounds over budget. So so for those people arguing in third world countries about the private sector is the engine room, and it's all to say the street word, it's rubbish. But let's come to the politics of what the former Agric minister achieved or did not. If we consider that he spent lots of money, maybe $1 billion or $2 billion of Ghana's money, and the overall consensus is that he has failed. What business has he got to come and convince Ghanaians that he actually has to be the president? Take it away.
Well, this man says that he wants to be president because he wants to be flag bearer of the new patriotic party.
Are you?
Do you understand that?
Are you?
He wants to be president because he wants to be flag bearer of the new patriotic party. Which one comes first?
Are you?
You want to be flag bearer because you want to be president of Ghana. But he thinks that he has to make a contribution not to his nation, but to his party.
You see?
When you have such partisan bigots leading the affairs of state, what do you expect? We had a former High Commissioner to South Africa who says that, look, MPP persons are first-class citizens and other Ghanaians will come secondary. And that they should give jobs only to MPP people. So that is why you find square pegs in round holes.
I will tell you this before you carry on. Talking about that fellow who was in South Africa and made those comments all those years, so much foolish comments like that to be a diplomat. On the other side of it, we have Papa Uswan Kama. He is the High Commissioner to UK. I tell you, as the accounts will say, he is superb. In fact, I've gone through loads of diplomats. My days in the castle with 80s in the Rollins and the rest, we've seen proper diplomats and all those things. Look, this Papa Uswan Kama knows his job. He's doing it very well. So others like the guy in South Africa, they can misbehave as much as they want. Some people like Papa Uswan Kama, we have to establish that fact that he is a proper guy doing a good job. Anyway, so now he failed. He wants to be president. Now let's come to the contemporary issue. Do you think that the unnecessary arrest that was carried out by police during the demos at the 37 military hospital car park, has that energized, has that now opened the doors for more demos, given that now even if the police say, okay, don't go here, still demonstrations can happen. And for people who want to push the agenda, that is a good thing, isn't it?
Well, I have said, anytime injustice becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. Right? And so when the police decide that they will perpetuate injustice as law, what citizens can best do is to resist them. And it is our duty to resist them. On the 21st of September, which is supposed to be one of the most loquacious days in the history of Africa.
Sure.
The birthday of Ghana, the birthday of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, that the whole world joined hands to celebrate. That was the day the police decided to mete out brutalities on citizens and innocent citizens of this land. And on that day, citizens had gone and notified you more than 3 weeks before an event. You chose to go to court only a day. And in the court, you were seeking an injunction, not that you were granted an injunction. You put an application seeking an injunction. It's not a grant of an injunction. Then you turn around that because you are seeking an injunction, citizens should stop. Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission that an injunction application has been put on was going around the conduct of his business. And the Ghana Police Service sheepishly was protecting the Electoral Commission and its work. And you cannot come and protect other citizens. And you decided to come and unleash brutality on them. 49, in fact 56 of them were arrested. I was the one that later in the evening, after I had gone to visit them in the afternoon, the Inspector General of Police called me and said that when the news got to him, he chose that everybody should be freed. And so I went to bail them. So as it stands now, if any one of them is being looked for and they are not around, I will be the one that will have to suffer the consequences for it. So I granted or stood for each one of the 56 people that were put up unjustly in prison. And of course, the next day, we went ahead with the protestation and we did what we had to do. Subsequently, the demonstration intensified on the third day, which was on the 23rd. People defied the rains, they defied any attempt by the police, and they went out. Of course, they wanted to occupy the Julobi house. They were prevented and they were stopped. But the police could have done that stoppage from the first day by not allowing the people into the Flagstaff house. But they decided to unleash brutality, thinking that that would stop us. We still went ahead. Now, I thought that that was unjust, but I also have to commend the police that having seen that citizens were not going to allow them to rigmarole them any submission. They learned their lessons, and in the last 2 days, they performed their duties with distinction. And so, in the last 2 days, they became professional in their conduct, and we cannot take away from it. But of course, the first day of the protestation and the action of the Ghana Police Service emboldened citizens. And I can tell you, from that day, citizens have decided that no police whatsoever can stop them in their quest to ensure the actualization of Article 21 of our 1992 Constitution, which states in part that citizens have a right to assemble, to protest, and to organize for any event. Note that Article 21 is under Chapter 5 of the Constitution, which is under fundamental human rights.
Sorry, are we okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine. I thought there's some you are being distracted. Anyway, so tell us something. I watched the beginning of yesterday, the Occupy Bank of Ghana, as the beginning of your march, the speeches you gave and everything, by the power of science and technology, as Osagyefo wanted us to master, instead of mastering the reading of the Bible and now doing rubbish things. I was able to look at you guys and listen to you. Give us a small practical picture of your route, your walk from, is it the Bradsport or the circle, I still call it Kwame Nkrumah Circle area, up to wherever you were allowed to go. Tell us, and was there any sort of indiscipline or any mishaps? Did people wanted to do, ride rough with the police, to do damage to other persons, defy the rules? Tell us, give us a small picture. Before you start though, let me say that my producers should say that those of you watching from on the Facebook, you are seeing the pictures as it is because we have connected the Zoom onto the Facebook. So you are seeing us talking, Mr. Mona and myself, and two people whose pictures, whose faces we can't see, and the other rest, I don't know. Yeah, two pictures. They are also on Facebook. So if you send your message or you write anything, I'll read it. And I have one message I will read to Mr. Mona. Somebody is asking some question here. Anyway, so tell us how you took off and where you ended up, because at some point you were having problem trying to reason with the police and they wouldn't be moved. They wouldn't, they wouldn't accept anything except what they have been told to do. So you had to redirect or choose a different route and the rest. Tell us, give us the full story, if you may.
Take note that this protest was supposed to have taken place on the 5th of September. The Ghana Police Service went on a very tortuous journey of determining which route we should pass, where we should end, what they considered as a security zone. They said the Bank of Ghana was security zone, which I continuously say that it cannot be a security zone. Our international airport should constitute a security zone. But remember that our international airport was infiltrated by a foreign company called Frontier Services when COVID-19 struck. And the Minister for National Security is not aware who put the Frontier Services at the airport. The Minister for Aviation was unaware. The Minister for Health was unaware who put Frontier Services. The Minister for Finance was not aware. And yet this company was not only injecting Ghanaians, but they were also taking money. They took as much as $150 per person that was traveling out or traveling in. That is a security zone. Yet somebody could go and establish, and officials of state could not determine who had actually authorized the person to be there. And the person worked until eventually when COVID was no more. If the airport is not that a security zone, and we could allow anybody and its officials to go there, Massa, how can the Bank of Ghana's premises constitute a security zone? So we told the police that the Bank of Ghana could not be a security zone. Subsequently, we said, okay, you said it's a security zone. Tell us the beginning of the security zone and the end of the security zone so that we can map up our route to end at where the security zones end. As of yesterday, the police could not determine where the end of the security zone was. Only a day before the protest, the police then came and announced where they think we should pass and where we should terminate. We told them we will occupy the Bank of Ghana. That was the title of our protest. And indeed, yesterday, when we took off, we were to start from the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, which you appropriately called, and then move all the way through the Adabraka route, right, to Adabraka police station. Then there is a total fuel station. We turn left, which will pass through the NDC headquarters. From the NDC headquarters, we'll then move all the way to the mental hospital, go to the Ridge Roundabout, and as we are descending, you will see the new Bank of Ghana edifices that they are constructing, which they claim will cost, the initial cost is 250. The police did not know that it was actually precisely because of that building that we chose that route, so that everybody can see. In fact, if they knew, they would not allow us, because virtually we occupied that facility. And so then we get to the Ridge Roundabout, turn to National Theatre, moved all the way to the court premises, the Atamils Court Complex, and then head to the Bank of Ghana, where we will submit our petition, occupy that place, to make our speeches and go. The police then redirected the route to end at the Black Star Square. And we told them that we were not seeking independence from any colonialists. So there was no need for the Black Star Square. We will not go there. So they blocked us at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park and the Tema Station Junction. But before we could get to the total at the Adabraka, the police had put up a barrier before that total. And that is where the small altercation took place.
I see.
We were at the bottom of the protest. By the time we got there, they were having difficulty in controlling the crowd. So I moved to ask the police, and they told us that the route we wanted to pass, this was the shortest way. So we had to encourage the crowd, who fortunately listened to us, and then we redirected them, and we still made sure that we passed through the route. Now, when we got to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park intersection, the police had mounted heavy barricades with their riot gear on. And then they said they wanted only the leaders to go to the Bank of Ghana. Then I said, but you said that the Bank of Ghana is a security zone. So if the leaders also go there, does that cease to be a security zone? So we will not go. That was my protest. Let the governor come, because we don't want to go to an area that is described as a security zone. Let the governor come and receive the petition. Then they told us that they've gotten information that the governor is unwell and that he had BP and has been taken to the Bank of Ghana hospital. Then I said, this governor, when he was overprinting money for Kenoforata and government, did not get BP. When he was running the bank at a loss of 60.8 billion, he did not get BP. When he was writing off nearly 40 billion as bad debt, he did not get BP. When he decided to take 250 million to go and start the construction of a new headquarters, he did not get BP. When we are protesting to ask for his resignation, then he's getting BP. Then his BP will never stop, because the protest will not stop. Later, they came and told us that they were ready at the bank, that we should go. So the leadership works there. When we got there, we introduced ourselves to the people that were there. Of course, I did not see any bald-headed man. You know, Addison is a bald-headed man. So when I didn't see any bald-headed man, I knew that Addison was not among them. So we asked them to introduce themselves. And then the leader said that he was Wing Commander retired, Asare Boateng, and he was Director of Security. And that government, take note of the word he used, government has directed that he should receive the petition. We were not submitting a petition to government. We were submitting to the governor of the Bank of Ghana. So who was that government that instructed him to receive the petition? In any case, as I retorted, if you are the Director of Security, you should have arrested the governor of the Bank of Ghana for running us into this ditch. Because Kofi Wampa resigned upon pressure from us when the currency was 4.2 Ghana cedis to $1. We cried wolf. When inflation was 14.7%, we cried wolf. Today, the cedi is almost 12 cedi to $1. It is not the reason for which we are saying Addison should go. The inflation is in excess of 40%, but citizens can tolerate those things. Yet they could not tolerate it under Kofi Wampa. Do you understand the difference?
Yes.
It is because he has overprinted money against the rules in excess of 80 billion. The Bank of Ghana at this point is broke. Meanwhile, you know that as part of the functions of a central bank, the central bank is supposed to be the banker's bank, to which it is the lender of last resort. Are you aware that the Bank of Ghana collapsed?
You see, when all this that you are elaborating is for people who don't know and for cheap politics, I hear and listen to some of the communicators come to say, oh yeah, even Bank of England have what we call it posted what we call losses, but that is not exactly true, because the Bank of England, the government, the conservative government, cannot issue directives that they should write some monies off. If I have to speak, I think 150 billion. And for them, everything is documented. Why those monies came about. I tell you what, for me, sometimes I listen to the conversation in Ghana and I shake my head. I say, what is going on? Look, here in UK, when the COVID started, or COVID was at its peak, imagine London alone, we are looking about, let's say, 10 million people here. All the tube and the buses were free. People sat at home and they were paid fully. Some of the private companies, what the government did was that the government was paying them 80% of their salary and the company taking 20% of the salary. And I'm telling you, people who are receiving £30,000 a year, £50,000 a year, £100,000 a year, the government paid almost 1.5 years, they were paying these salaries. So if the Bank of England printed 150 billion for the government, it's all documented. And now the Bank of England have issued directives that governments of any color will use 10 years to repay that money back. You can't simply write it off and go and borrow as we are doing. It doesn't make economic or financial sense. So where is Bawumia in all this? One might ask.
Well, Bawumia is busy trying to defeat Kennedy Akoto, who is obviously not qualified to lead even a ministry, and yet he wants to be president. And then Adai Dimo, sorry. So that is what Bawumia is doing at this moment. And so he has forgotten that there is an economy to manage and that he is the head of the economic management team. And so everything is left in the hands of Addison and Ken Ofodata. And Ken Ofodata, whilst he's running the economy of Ghana dead, they are collapsing banks in this country. Are you aware that there is a claim that Ken is owning or owns a bank in Liberia, and that all the profits that he's making, he is rather using that to strengthen his bank in Liberia and in the Gambia? Now, when you are collapsing banks in Ghana, and you, an individual, you are using the benefit to go and open banks in another country, you are denying the young people in this country employment. You are denying them of income. You are frustrating their future. And you want to be rich by thinking that you are smart by opening banks in another country. That is why Osofo Chirabusum would say that the new prayer in Ghana is for God to kill all those who are stealing and looting our nation. That either they get up and they suffer stroke, or they should die in accident during the campaign. But excellent, exactly, this is the prayer of many Ghanaians in this instant. And everybody must appreciate the difficulties of the time. Once we are in this difficulty, once we are in this difficulty, there cannot be doubt that, look, citizens are very frustrated. I tell you one thing. Are you aware that National Investment Bank, that has lived with us for all these years, is being collapsed at this material moment? Why is it being collapsed? More than 900 Ghanaian workers are again going to suffer job losses because NIB is being collapsed. The NIB, they say, has not met the liquidity threshold of the Bank of Ghana.
Sure.
But ask yourself, has the Bank of Ghana itself met the liquidity threshold that is supposed to meet? Has the bank itself not run into a loss? Under normal circumstances, by proper practice, we should have been sacking or closing down the Bank of Ghana. But we can't close it. That is why we are calling for the resignation of the managers of the Bank of Ghana.
But you see, now, our time factor, let me ask you, you are the guys always pushing for the right things to be done, organizing demonstration. The question Ghanaians or somebody will ask, how did we get here? You see, the structure, what is happening in Ghana today, even in my day, when we had people like Emperor Bokassa, Idi Amin, all those tough guys, they didn't have such structures where we have a president and his cousin running the economy down and they, becoming so rich, and yet citizens have no say. My question is, are we going to, as Ghanaians, going to tolerate this the second time around? Because this has happened, any president who comes can now bring their people, their cousins, their family members, close family members, give them sensitive positions to run. For example, Mahama come and he will make Ibrahim Mahama his finance minister. Who is going to argue? Minister. And should Ghanaians accept this again?
Well, because the question you ask is the same questions we have been asking and protesting. And some neophytes in our nation who don't even understand what is happening. I'm happy that you are not within Ghana, but you are so politically conscious and understand the exigency of the time. So you are not making some of the reckless comments that other people are making from afar. Look, Jerry Rawlings was president. How many of his family people did he employ? President Kufuor was president. Probably the only person was his brother, who was Minister for Defense, right? President Atamul's came. I am not aware that he gave any of his brothers any appointment. President Mahama came into office. The only person he appointed was a deputy minister who is even a cousin. Today, she speaks for Mahama. But Akufo-Addo comes. Minister for Finance is a relative. Chief Justice is a relative. Minister for Roads is a relative. Secretary to the President is a relative. Everybody, Minister for Works and Housing is a relative. Anybody that Akufo-Addo appointed, go and check. They have some relationship to the President or the President's wife or the Vice President or the Vice President's wife. And you think that the President was in a position to sack anybody who underperformed? We have been in this country where President will tell us that somebody who will sell so-called 5 million liters of contaminated oil to a company that is not registered, that person has committed no crime. You remember the Afro Obin saga. Movimpina was not registered. They did not have tax clearance certificate. They did not even have a business registration.
You see, I know if it was my personal conversation with you, then I will say, oh, we don't need to bring all this. But because of time factor, then we have to bring everything, including the PDS and the Japan Royal, Japan nonsense, the Ameri. It's on and on and on. The point is, why is it something in my primitive Ghanaian African understanding? We say, is it juju? Why are Ghanaians tolerating this?
Well, they cannot. If they can do juju, we will use juju to cure it. Because some ones of us will continue to speak. We will continue to attack the policies that are wrong. Those that have to listen have to listen. The only thing that we have done is that all of us are united that we do not want a military takeover. But it gets to a point that you feel that probably the military could have done better for us. Because what is going on?
This is where, for me, being the thick of affairs in my day, we thought we have gone past this. But it looks as though the coups and the quasi-revolution we had, they came at the wrong time. Mr. Mona, did you hear my comments? Your microphone. We are having some slight signal problem. Now I think you are back. Are you?
Okay.
Did you hear my comment?
That
what I said was that, you know, it looks as if the revolution and the quasi-revolution and the coups we had in Ghana, it looks as if we had them at the wrong time.
I agree with you perfectly, because in 1979 thereabout, when the coups took place, you remember that they audited every bank account in this country.
Are you?
And that anybody that at the time had 50,000 cedis in the bank account, you were asked to come to a tribunal to justify how you were able to make that amount of money. Those who could not justify their sources into their bank account, the money was confiscated for the state.
Most of them ended up in UK here and finished their lives here.
they ran out because they could not justify the source of their wealth. Today, that 15,000 is today's 5 Ghana cedis.
You see?
Today, in people's bedrooms, more than $1.5 million can be stolen by house helps. If you go to people's bank account, appointees who had zero, they can have in excess of $5 million in less than 5 years of being in office. And so you ask yourself, have we gone or have we come? That is why I say that we need to exhume Jerry Rawlings to come and lead the entire nation on our knees to beg those whose 50,000 cedis were confiscated that we did wrong. Because today, what we are witnessing is 500 times worse.
Obviously, I know my former boss made his own mistakes when he realized it was too late and they got rid of him. One day we'll revisit all these things. But tonight, yet our time is up. Someone sent me a question long ago when we started talking about your party. So it's only fair that I'll read it out and maybe you can find he can find some satisfaction in your answer. He says, ask him why his party is refusing to take advantage of the current trends to revive itself into a third force. Is it that they lack capacity in all aspects, or is it that the party have lost interest in governance or in the governance issues of the country? Long winding, but I think you get the gist.
I'll try to summarize my answer. Politics has become very expensive. Master, you must understand, despite that social media and other platforms has made it probably a bit cheaper.
Yes.
You still need to go around the places to go and give your message to the people, right? The people must see you. You must develop paraphernalia and all that.
Yes.
And so if I have to move from here to Koforidua, to Kumasi, to Sunyani, to Goso, I'll require money. And sometimes it is very Herculean. So as and when you are able to get the money, you move to the other stages. But see, there are rent seekers who believe that me, when probably I'm leading a political party, you cannot corrupt me and you cannot influence my way of thinking. What needs to be done will be done.
That's why you are poor. Not in monetary terms, but the fact that you cannot be so opulent and spend as much as you want.
The truth is that why should we be importing rice into this country?
Exactly.
When we can produce all the rice.
Exactly.
And so those who are into the rice business, that I insist that we will not import rice after a year of our government will not like me and they will not sponsor us. Those who are importing poultry produce into this country will not like us. Right? And so those who are importing other foods into this country, and that is their only business, they will not like you because you are talking about policies.
For me, I find you very straightforward and pragmatic. You see, not because you are sitting here, I want to flatter you. When that gentleman's question, your answer is very, very practical indeed. to me, what we are facing today, all this talk of third party, independent, all the rest, honestly speaking, I think Ghanaians, majority of you guys, must just come together and make sure you get rid of the system, this rotten system. Get rid of it. Let's usher in, start slowly, gradually with a proper governance. Then we can reorganize, the structures that support democracy. For now, this third party, third this and third that, is a bit superficial. Perhaps maybe I'm wrong. But I think your answer, if it improves, goes to say that perhaps I'm right. Because you can spend money, and if you don't find the money, they say the idle hands always goes to the nearest and the most convenient place for help. And so you may end up, even one day I will hear, Benamoda speaking very good about Baumia or Nanadu because you needed money to do your party. So for me, I will say that it is time to be very, very practical, and we should know the target, the objective, the object of our, the means to come out of this. I will use some words that is not good on radio. But look, I understand where you are coming from, and I think you have to speak to the others. CPP is a strong, traditionally Nkrumah's party. CPP is PPP, but all the rest of the PPP, this and that, it will be a distraction. I think, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it's time to just get rid of this rot, this smelly rot. Then after that, we think of how to reorganize ourselves. What do you think?
I am totally in sync with you on this matter. And that is why I was very angry with our minority when they joined the majority side to go to Brussels. You know that the embassy account in Belgium was closed because the Belgian
So you people know all this, but you don't talk about it. This is the first time a government account, diplomatic account, was closed because of money laundering. Yes. And Ghanaians, many Ghanaians don't know about this.
No, they know. And the minority joined to go and plead, virtually go and beg for the Belgian authority.
Oh, no. Yes. I didn't hear this.
I am telling you, and at one of our public forum, I didn't spell Rashid Pelku.
No, I don't want to be rude here and be cutting you like this, but I'm taking it personal now. I'm not being even professional. Yes. Really? That the NDC minority, they call themselves minority. Meanwhile, they are not even minority. They went to the government side to go and plead with the external factors so that
they can reopen our embassy account. And now the Belgian authority were talking to them like they were school children, telling them that this is your last warning. Let your government never use the account as a source of laundering money. That was first. And that we will not buy from Ghana any longer. And our MPs were down in their knees. Brian Achampong was there. Chairman Sambosu was there. Haruna Idrisu was there. Rashid Pelku was there. So I told them,
my brother, hang on. Look, I'm telling you that for me, anything we've discussed here, if I know something, I know. If I don't know, it doesn't make me little. This fact I didn't know. Is there, where do I get a source, a document, something from that a Ghanaian delegation, headed to Brussels to plead, and that delegation included so and so and so. Can you get me some facts, please?
I didn't say this. This was on Sunday night. One of the people that went for that meeting spoke at our public community forum. That is Rashid Pelku. And he was telling us that this is how rotten the system was. Fortunately, I had to speak after him. And I got up and everybody was in agreement with me. And I said that somebody doesn't go to shit for another person to go and gather the shit away. The MPP cannot go and cause a mess.
Listen, let me tell you something. My grandmom, God bless her soul, she loves me so much that for me, let's use our balance. Everywhere that people want to shit, in the village, in the toilet, I didn't want to go there. Obviously, I think they supported me as well because I was too, haphazard, and I can fall between the sticks, the latrine. I can fall, or a lot of snakes about. So I didn't want to go there. My grandmom said, do your thing behind the house, I'll clean. So she was cleaning after me. And that was a good job that she was doing. So your analogy there, I just wanted to come in with this, that sometimes it can happen if and only it is needed. But in this case, it was wrong.
It was absolutely wrong for a minority to go and join, to beg. Your government is using state money, stealing our state money, laundering it through our embassy accounts. And you go to the same country to go and plead and tell the people that, look, it's not about the MPP. It is about the state of Ghana. They should tolerate us and allow us to continue to operate the embassy account. What rubbish was that from our minority?
What rubbish was that? And these people want power. And that they are accusing the other side of being corrupt and incompetent. And what is going on?
Yes, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. That is the new democracy in Ghana. So MP people scratch the back.
I will get Rashid here one day. I'm disappointed.
Just call Rashid. Just call Rashid. In your conversation, say that I told you that this is what they did. Is that true or not? If he says it is not true,
money laundering itself is wrong. Then when you are in opposition, no, you let the people who did that thing, you let them steal. You don't let them burn in their own fire. You don't go and
money out of Ghana. You are laundering money out of Ghana, not into Ghana.
Listen, any of you on the Zoom, I want to be fair to you. Do you want to ask a question, contribution quickly before I let our friend go? We've had quite a long night already. Marcos Kwashi, I think you are there, and Dr. Amanshi Ambrose. If you guys want to say something, quickly, let's hear your voice. Or you should let us have.
Musa.
Okay, go ahead, Ambrose.
Good evening, Bernard Mona, on comrade. My question is, Occupy BOG is over. What next?
It's not over. We refuse to submit our petition to the chief watchman at the Bank of Ghana, and so we will go back in more tumultuous numbers. It is not over because our demand is for the governor of the central bank and his deputy to resign. Failing that, we will continue to occupy BOG. As I said, a child that says that the mother will not sleep will not also sleep. If the governor will not resign, we cannot rest.
All right. So that was what I was coming to, because I believe that the current president is not a listening president. So all what we can do is use sustained protest, so that if the governor of Bank of Ghana will not leave, the protest will also not cease.
It will not cease, my brother.
Ambrose, I think you've got your answer, but what I want to also ask you, are you also disturbed, surprised? Ambrose, for me, Mansa Musa, you know me, I sit here and sometimes I think I know everything. In fact, I know a lot from what do we call Angola to Mongolia to everywhere on this planet. Everything I hear, I've read, and so. But I am surprised as Bat to think of the fact that NDC people followed MPP people to go and plead with the Belgians because the MPP some person in government were doing money laundering. I mean, Ambrose, What do you think of this?
Yes, Mansa Musa. Why are you surprised, Mansa Musa? I'm surprised at you too. Is it not the same minority that approved Ken Ofori-Atta for the second time? So why are you surprised? You shouldn't be surprised because what we've witnessed, what the minority have engaged with the majority to ridicule the country, it's something we cannot talk about it today nor tomorrow. So I don't think you should be surprised because we know how the minority leadership.
La. Listen, la. It's okay.
To merge the nation. So you are aware. The same people that approve Ken Ofori-Atta, so you shouldn't be surprised.
All those things they did. Listen, all those things they did. In public, we know it's wrong. We have berated them, criticized them, everything. But for to secretly follow this embarrassment, national, international embarrassment like this as a group.
It wasn't a secret, Mansa Musa. That was not a secret. It was a delegation from Parliament. That's what happened.
Oh, so now they will accept that Mansa Musa grabs more because it's not everything I know then. Because I would have written my bombs. Jesus Christ. Anyway, listen, gentlemen.
It was a delegation, so Mansa Musa, that is it. That was what.
Oh dear. So, Mr. Marcos Kwashi, do you want to say something quickly before sometimes when we do these Zooms, people say, I stay here, you didn't allow me to say anything. Mr. Marcos, if you are listening, do you want to say anything? Marcos is in Cape Coast, Ofigwe, and I asked him earlier on why are they not organizing protests, and he said for him he doesn't want somebody to break his head. Because you want to be an armchair observer, no be so.
My phone battery says it's giving up.
Exactly. Listen, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully, like I say, sometimes I may need you to help me with some contacts, and I will contact you. But big time. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Your night will be better, sir.
Ambrose. Ambrose.
Hello, Mansa Musa.
What's up, Bibiana?
David, I'm just listening, Mansa Musa.
Okay. And so if you are just listening there, you will see her. Nyareboa, Adienchi, Emma.
The Americans say, man, you're surprised.
No, I said, wait, they be surprised. Hey,
mess they cause.
I mean, how can you do that?
They did not go there in their private capacity.
Yeah, but it's wrong. It's wrong for the parliament to even do that. It's wrong. I mean,
I always say it on your program that almost 95% of the mess that is being created or has been created is as a result of incompetent and corrupt legislature that we have.
Corrupt and incompetent opposition as well.
Yeah, they have condoned and connived the majority to do that. So that is it.
My bread. My bread more. Hey! Jesus Christ, yo.
Good night.
Bye. Bye. Right, as they say, wonders will never end. Sometimes Master Musa thinks he knows all. But sometimes even Master Musa can be surprised. Sometimes you can be given sulia. Like tonight, I've been given sulia. They said that the parliament sent delegation of NDC and MPP parliamentarians to Brussels in Belgium to go and plead on behalf of the government. The reason the Belgian government had closed down our embassy account because they suspect our government officials were doing money laundering. This one is a new law. Yami admochna ebedi unkomo. Mamunyina ajo. Bye bye.
NFM Radio.